Do you know all the Simpsons? Are you stupid like a fox? Is he coming up Millhouse? Where's the guy with the missing arm?
Welcome back to the Cracker Factory podcast. You're with your hosts, Jared
and Isaac.
And we are picking up where we left off. We finished off on episode 6, season 1. I hope you guys enjoyed that first 6 episodes. It ended up turning into a really long podcast, right, Isaac?
I mean, I think we sort of thought we'd have all the episodes done in about an hour or two, and we got halfway through in about an hour and a half. So it did end up turning into 2 parts.
Which takes me to the fact that season 2, we mentioned it in the first episode, is 22 episodes, 23 episodes, 22 episodes, whatever it is.
Nearly double.
Long.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to have to formulate an idea as to how we can narrow it down. For now, we're going to talk about episodes 7 to 13 in season 1. And boy, have we got some absolute stinkers for you. We have some good ones.
I think we actually have my favorite episode of the season in this half. But yeah, there's some absolute stinkers here too.
Your favorite episode of the season?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to hear when we get up to it what that is. It's funny. It's been a couple of weeks since we recorded the first lot, and we've added some things, and I haven't looked back at the episodes that we have yet to talk about. So I'm sort of going in blind, but I've got my notes and I think I can remember them. That's how slack we are on this podcast. Don't expect perfection. In fact, don't expect mediocrity, because we're probably below mediocrity, I would say.
In all ways, yeah. Not just in terms of, yeah.
Not even in terms of content, but in terms of, just pure, eagerness to get things done. We're just like, we sit at we ride the line of, what's the point in terms of getting it done? But,
we're setting the expectation early, aren't we? That don't expect anything from us, really.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, there's not, listen to the podcast, watch The Simpsons, write into our email, crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com if you have any insight or comment in the comments on YouTube, or, just look up our addresses and send us some hate mail. We actually don't mind. But I do want to ask you, Isaac, I spent some time, and when I say some time, I say maybe an hour recording an intro to this podcast.
Yeah, well.
What are your thoughts? It played before we started. It played over us introducing this podcast. What are your thoughts? I want to know.
I mean, I like it. Obviously, it's better than any attempt I've done as a non-musician, and also having not attempted to do one. We had this discussion before we even started, recording anything, that we would need a cool little intro song, and I left that in your capable hands. I think the best I could do would probably bang on some pots and say something about welcome to the Simpsons podcast. So, it's blown my expectations out of the water.
Good. And your expectations were really low, right? So,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it wasn't hard, but here we are. We've got something. I don't know. I feel like the words could change. I feel like maybe we'll leave that up to the listener. If you guys have suggestions in terms of words, I did listen back and think we're talking about, when I say the guy with the missing arm, we're referring to everyone's favorite character, Herman. And I think his last name is Herman. And, maybe that's a Herman's Herberts joke. I don't know if you know the Herman's Hermits from 1960s Brit pop or Brit rock band, like Liverpool sound band. But
I think he was the 5th member of the Beatles.
Yeah, he might have been a Beatles member. I don't know, but he lost his arm, so he couldn't play anymore. I don't know, whatever his thing was. But I said, where is he? Maybe I should have said, who is he in the lyrics, because who is he? Where does he go?
Well, like us and everything in the show, it's very fluid, The song can change, the gist can change. Next week we might be a Family Guy podcast. Who knows, really?
That's it. I was going to say that. I was going to say, yeah, we might not even talk about The Simpsons ever again after this, but but whatever. It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's keep the song as is. If you have suggestions, please email at Cracker Factory Podcast. That's Cracker Factory Podcast @gmail.com. Write in, tell us some lyrics, and I'll change it up. I'm happy to do that. But without further ado, we're getting into the Simpsons season 1, episode numero 7. It is called The Call of the Simpsons. This is a funny episode. So we talked about this episode, Isaac, or maybe you can give us a little synopsis of what you think the episode's on about. Do you want me to read the Disney Plus?
Yeah, read the Disney Plus one, and then I'll read what I title it as in my notes.
Okay, cool. You've got your own title. Is that what's going on?
I mean, I've just been titling them so I remember the general gist of it, like at a glance.
Okay, I'm going to read the Disney Plus one once I open Disney Plus, but while I'm opening Disney Plus, I would like to say that we talked about in our first episode of the podcast that there is an episode in season 1 where the Simpsons jokes and Simpsons vibe is established. This is that episode. I know you called it out when we first looked at it.
Yeah,
you called it out. I thought, yes, that's hilarious. That's it, man. Like this is where the Simpsons joke style and comedy stylings become really apparent, where it's just like that is.
They find their like joke formats in this, like the template that they'll use for many jokes over the years. They sort of find it in this episode, I think.
Yeah, 100%. So this is what I've got on Disney Plus. So it says, the Simpsons RV goes over a cliff and Homer and Bart go for help, get lost, and lose their clothes. I mean, it's pretty specific. You want to? Yeah. So what have you got, Isaac? I don't know. What do you?
I literally just call it the one where the Simpsons get lost in the woods. So it's as easy as that, really. And I mean, earlier I said this half of our recording has my favorite episode of the season, and this is probably my favorite episode of the season.
This one is.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. What would you say? Have we gone through your favorite?
We might, I think so. Like, we might have a couple of disagreements with regards to this episode in particular. Like, that's really interesting. I found parts of this episode kind of boring. I found the Bigfoot aspect boring as hell.
Yeah. I think it has a great start, great middle, but sort of like a sloppy end with the Bigfoot stuff and Marge being married to a Bigfoot or all that sort of stuff. I mean, have we already gone through your favorite episode of the season, probably, or is it still to come?
I think like I'm looking at the list that's coming up, and I think maybe this is probably up there with the episodes in terms of my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's hard to say because there's no like S tier episodes in the season, in my opinion, thus far.
Oh, don't spoil it, but. Yes,
well, I don't know. That's it.
I agree.
We might, don't spoil it, but also, you're right. Well, that's it. I don't know. Like, we might actually come to an agreement later on about an episode being an S tier. I'm having a look, maybe because of its classicness. Is that a word? Classicness.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about this episode. So I think it's funny as so the actual episode 7. Wes Archer directed it. John Swartzwelder. Wrote it, original air date, Feb 18, 1990, and 27.6 million US viewers at the time. So that's pretty high considering we had a few dips earlier on, especially in the crap episodes.
Yeah.
So it starts off and Flanders buys an RV and Homer wants to, and Flanders is a smug in this season, like he's super smug. They haven't got the Flanders styling down. Yeah, we did. Yeah. And so he's smug. We don't have that Flanders, like, I guess the godliness that is there. And so he's this bit of a smug douche a bit. And he buys an RV. And so to start off with, my first note is this. I said, I love that Rod and Todd taunt Bart in season 1, but gradually become pathetic.
Complete jerks. Yeah.
Like, dude, the start of the episode, Rod is on a mower, like a ride-on lawnmower. I can't remember what Bart's doing, but whatever he's doing, he says, hot enough for you, as he rides the ride on and Bart pushes a mower. That's right.
Yeah. And then several seasons later, we have them terrified of a moth and a ladybug or something. So
literally, like you can just tell that the transition between the characters is just, the development of the characters is just Man, I hate this smug Rod and Todd in this episode. It's just
It would have
annoying.
been fun to see what else they would have done with that later on, though. Like how different episodes would have gone if they'd kept this version of Rod and Todd. Just
for sure. Rod and Todd could have been bullies at one stage, I
just
reckon.
Complete jerks to Bart at every turn.
Anything you want to say before we get into the really good part with our RV dealership?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all just setting up to get to Homer at this RV salesperson, which I think we both agree is what we're talking about when we say it's setting up the Simpsons comedy styling with this dude.
Yeah, literally. So this is funny because Flanders buys an RV. Homer dislikes the fact that Flanders is so smug, buys an RV, and Homer does the same thing. And quite frankly, Homer is told when he goes to the RV place, he meets the guy. I think it's Bob's RVs or something, or Crazy Bob's RVs or something like that. Yeah. So Bob is the owner, and he's trying to sell Homer an RV. And man, it's so funny. Like he's just such a. He tries to sell Homer the RV, but he looks at Homer's credit history and just says he can't afford it, and brings him to the crappiest RV. But the things that he says in this episode, I don't know if you've got any lines written down, but some of the things that he said, I think it's just the way he delivers the lines. Like they're not even like particularly hilarious comedic lines, but the way he delivers them, it's just like he's just so funny. The way he talks down to Homer, it's just hilarious. I remember like
condescending and sarcastic, and it's
great. Literally,
it's fantastic.
I love the dude buttering Homer up before he sells him the RV, and he's like, man, I thought you were a man. You can, you make your own choices. Your family has to decide. I thought, whatever. And then he goes, I don't own the place, even though my name's on the sign. Like Bob's quotes, just the best. Like they're just so funny. I don't know if you've got any good quotes from Bob.
I didn't write any quotes down, but just like any of the episodes before this didn't really have this kind of comedy in it. And then from this point onwards, that like this kind of character is a staple of the Simpsons series. There'll always be characters like this in the Simpsons. Yeah,
literally. And it's like there's an episode later in the Simpsons where Homer has to get his car fixed or something, and he goes to the mechanic, and the guy's like, "Oh my God, my boss wouldn't let me let you drive out of here without doing this. Like it would actually be illegal for me to let you go." And then the boss comes over and goes, "What's going on over here?" He goes, "I'm gonna get fired if I whatever." You know what I'm talking about? The episode. When we get to it, it's so funny. I can't remember exactly the quote, but the boss comes over and they just absolutely rinse Homer. And that's just the impression Bob gives me selling this RV to Homer.
The writers and the voice actor for Bob would have just had a lot of fun. Just I don't know how much of it would be ad-libbing, but just the complete bullshit that he spews.
Yeah, like he says something like, they go to this crappy rundown RV. He says, "You know what, Homer? This is going to be the best RV you'll ever own." And I'm not saying that because it's good. I'm saying that because I've seen your credit history. And this is, quite frankly, the best RV you will ever own. And it's just this really crappy RV. It's so funny. So Homer ends up buying it. Yeah, and they take it out. And so they go camping in the RV, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said it already, but I said huge call. I reckon this episode is the Simpsons' identity in comedy styling first really cemented itself in this episode. So Bob's interactions with the Simpsons, sort of like epitomize the comedy stylings, and it's also the first episode in the appearance of Bart's lucky red hat, which is really? such a funny ongoing joke. Yeah, he mentioned, I think he's in the episode, he mentions his lucky red hat. Like he's like, "Oh, my lucky red hat."
I didn't pick
Or is
that.
it just wearing it? Oh, it's just funny as, man. And he's wearing the hat too.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
One of their ongoing jokes that'll come up every now and then.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it. And so, okay, the Simpsons go into the woods, and they get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Homer and Bart, they're naked because reasons, and Homer falls in mud, and it's a big scary ape monster-like dude, and some tourists capture him on video, and the world thinks that they've found Bigfoot, and it's going to be Homer, who we're actually missing in the first place. And so is Maggie, actually, because Maggie followed them, right? And Maggie gets coddled by bears, which is sort of the B story, which is weird.
You can basically gloss over all of the bear-related things. Not much really happens there.
Yeah, bears are nice to Maggie. It's meant
they're
to be
sad
cute
when
and
Maggie
funny.
goes back to the human world or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
it's a-
Jungle Book or something.
Yeah, it's a dumb B story, but it's there. And yeah, you know what I think's funny is so the Simpsons are basically like they are Homer and Bart are like, these wild guys, and Homer gets found to thought to be the Bigfoot character. And there's a press conference about it, like, we found Bigfoot, we're going to go shoot him, or whatever we're going to do, hunt him down or catch him alive or whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
And Marvin Monroe is the scientist examining Bigfoot.
Now,
after
how
they
many
capture him.
jobs does this man have?
Well, isn't he a counselor? Is he not a counselor?
He's like the psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, and now he's a scientist that studies Bigfoot.
Yeah.
No, he was a counselor. He's a doctor who is a counselor. So what is his PhD in, firstly? Because he's not a therapist. He's a counselor, which isn't a doctor. And now he's a scientist studying Bigfoot because he's the only doctor in the Simpsons world.
I mean, later
that was
this would
pretty
probably be Frink, right? Like if this was a later season.
Yeah.
episode.
Professor Frink for sure.
Yeah.
And the doctor would be either Dr. Nick Rivera or
Hibbert.
Dr. Hibbert, Julius Hibbert. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's funny that Marvin Monroe, there's a funny thing in the skit show because Marvin Monroe dies off eventually. And there's a funny thing in a Simpsons skit show a bunch of seasons later, and it's they're like, well, we're going to the ad. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. Which popular Simpsons character
popular.
died
You
off?
have to specify popular.
Yeah. Which popular Simpsons character died off? And they come back. If you said Marvin Monroe, you'd be wrong. He was never popular or whatever. Just like, that's so true. Like, he just sucked.
As bad as the clip shows are, that like they had some solid jokes and those sort of things.
They did, yeah. They were pisses. I feel like people are going to absolutely roast us through email or comments, just being like, "You get all the Simpsons quotes wrong." It's hard when you're on the spot because the amount of Simpsons quotes we get right to each other are hilarious.
I think it's more of a vibe thing, Like we got the vibe.
It is
right.
a vibe.
Yeah,
the vibes there.
We're on the right spot. I mean, this episode has a few good moments. I mean, Homer when he leaves the group and it's playing the cheerful music as he walks off into the woods by himself.
Yeah.
And echoing he's murdered us all. Fantastic. And then another one that they would probably never do these days.
Wait, is that when he's sitting on a rock? He's sitting on a rock.
Yeah.
His cheerful music. He's like, "I'll get us out of this." He sits on the rock and goes, "I've killed us all," and just echoes through the woods.
Murdered us all. Yeah.
And they all just hear it. That's so funny. Yeah, that's a good one. Sorry.
When they're laying a trap, Homer and Bart, and Bart asks, "What are they going to do? Hang themselves?" That's a joke they would never do these days. But it's so good.
They would never do that joke, would they?
Never,
I did like
ever.
that joke too.
Good,
they would never do that joke. It's too morbid.
Yeah. I don't think that.
But yeah, it's a good one. I did like that. What else? Anything else in particular? What I say? So my general thoughts and opinions about the episode is that the episode goes downhill after RV. It started so well and just couldn't live up to the Bob hype. I don't know. I just after the, I said it's your favorite episode. I feel like after the RV, it's sort of just.
I don't know. There's little moments like that, and then I think when Homer gets hit with the tranks, he just turns to Bart and avenge me, son, avenge my death. Little moments like
yeah.
I mean, they carry me through the episode. Like they feel like, Simpsons jokes from the seasons that I love. So I think that's why I like this episode above any other season 1 episode.
I feel like I had a bias about how boring that section where Homer was found to be Bigfoot. I feel like I have a bias towards me thinking that was boring. So I'm looking at
and the bear stuff as well.
Yeah. But that's so minimal, I guess. Like I could probably forget all of that, forgive it all. But man, I've given this a really, really, really poor rating. Given that you said it's your favorite, I've given it something you're going to despise. I don't know. Anything else you want to say before we sort of go to our rating about the episode?
No, I want to hear your argument for how low you're going to put it.
Well, I don't know. Now that I hear you say it's your favorite and you're actually really enjoying the jokes, the small one-liner jokes, I'm like, maybe I did go a little bit too far. What am I
Well-
comparing it to?
What did you put it in? Because it's still
Okay.
not an S tier. We've showed our hand here and said there's no S tiers in season 1. Sorry, spoilers, everyone. But there's some.
Well, can we
stinkers in
remember? Yeah, there are no S tiers. There are no S tiers.
Yeah.
Can we remember our tier list a little bit, just so we can refresh the
here.
viewers?
Remember the names? Yeah. Well, it's important. Yeah, let's go through the names.
Okay,
again.
so S tier, what do we have? We had Sue Delupa. So that's our S tier. That's the highest we're going to get. You're not going to find any of those in this season because they just didn't have the Simpsons comedy yet. They didn't have the narratives there. Couple of okay stories, but it's hard to really
There's
say they're S tier.
No episodes in this season that I would be like, man, I really want to rewatch that episode right now. Like there would be
Nah,
watching a season 6 or 7 or something.
it's
episode.
five,
Yeah.
season 5, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But A, we had awesome to the max. We didn't have that, did we? Wasn't awesome to the max. What was our A tier?
Look, I'll fill time. You quickly try and find it.
Yep. How long can you hold the R? Keep going.
I'm about to pass out.
Keep going.
No, I don't think I can. I was
We
in
did have
spots,
awesome to
sorry.
the max. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
5 hours later.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, just,
A was awesome to the max.
Mhm.
Right? So we had Sue Diddly-Ooper as our S tier. Awesome to the max is A tier. B for bad to the bone. So awesome to the max, that's good. Probably rewatchable. Sue Diddly-Ooper's S tier, supreme. Awesome to the max is rewatchable. Bad to the bone is you'd watch it if it's on, but you wouldn't go ahead and watch it. So that's B tier. That's sort of the mediocre, maybe a bit lower than mediocre, I would say. Whatever. C is choose not to watch. We choose not to watch this. I would say if it was on, we'd probably find something else to do.
Yeah. Go play
it's-
Halo or Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, or anything else. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'd rather do the dishes. But and then rock bottom is D. It's funny that I think back now, and awesome to the max is a Futurama reference, but
Oh, oops.
max power,
Yeah.
max power's there.
That's right.
Whatever.
Look, we'll get to Futurama one day. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's it.
After 30
Once we get to
seasons of
Futurama.
Simpsons.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, we made this list, we made this sort of tier system after we'd already sort of started doing S to F.
Yeah.
So mine, I'm going to have to sort of ad-lib a little bit here, but I'd put it in D/E.
So that would be like a low B, high C, is it?
I reckon it might be a D in it, but I am happy to put it at a B list, I would say.
Okay.
I can't justify it being A.
Okay.
I would say probably B, maybe a C, which I don't know. It's a hard one for me. Maybe I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. I don't think C, choose not to watch. I don't think I'd... it's borderline.
Yeah.
B or C, so bad to the bone, choose not to watch for me. You tell me what you think.
I mean, S is out of the question. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this episode. In my notes, I've put it as A. I like it. I enjoy it every time I watch it. But I guess with our criteria, like for me, it'd be a high B or a low A. So I can settle for a B.
Okay.
I can.
Cool. I think we settle. I think we can settle at B because I'm not going to go up to A. I can understand choose not to watch is maybe a bit far, so I'm happy to settle for B. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's good. It's got good parts at the start. It gets pretty boring. It's not amazing. It's not even great. It's probably good at best.
Well, yeah. If you're
Probably not
thinking
even.
C, I'm thinking A. We'll both compromise on a B, but then we both, let's say we both get one veto on someone else's wrong opinions. So I owe you one bad decision, and you owe me one bad decision.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to go
Done.
B.
Yeah,
Yep.
B is fine.
Cool. Let's move on to episode 8. Episode 8. This is one that you sort of, it's one of those iconic in that you remember
Yeah.
it being an episode, but man, did I not watch this much when I was a kid.
No.
You know, I probably saw it once and I'm like looking back at it now. It's an episode. It sure is one of those episodes in season 1, isn't it?
It sure is. I mean, it's an iconic episode, right? Like it's for like the history of The Simpsons, and I guess like canon history of The Simpsons, because there's plenty of stuff that's, you know, just complete nonsense with the format of a weekly show like that. But I think this is one of the ones that they choose to keep as like real canon, that Bart did steal the head and stuff.
Real canon in that they put it back on at the end.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's talk about the episode first. What's the episode? I'll give you the Disney Plus. So the episode's called The Telltale Head. For those of you that are Simpsons enthusiasts and know all about The Simpsons, you'd know this is the episode Bart decides to cut off the head of the Jebediah Springfield statue in the middle of the town hall, or town square, rather. So Disney Plus says, Bart pulls a stunt that shocks the entire town, including the new friends he was trying to impress. I guess that's pretty close.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically spot on. I mean, I just call it Bart steals Jebediah's head. So
Bart cuts off Jebediah's head. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it says, I've got here, Bart becomes friends with Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney, a group of local troublemakers. Trying to impress them, Bart decides to cut off and steal the head of the statue of Jebediah Springfield. The next day, the entire town grieves for the vandalized statue, and Bart discovers that his new friends want to attack the vandal. Feeling remorse, Bart confesses to his family, and Homer and Bart take the head back to the statue after passing through the furious people. I guess that's pretty close. And this is interesting because this is the first episode, you know, that was directed by Al Jean, Mike Reiss, Sam Simon, and Matt Groening, I believe. No, sorry. Is that right? I guess it was directed and written by?
On the story, man.
Mine's all over the shop, I think. It's number in the season. Yeah, oh no, sorry. It was directed by Richard Moore and written by Al Jean, Mike Reiss, Sam Simon, and Matt Groening. I think that makes sense. I think it's just all over the shop on here. But I guess, that's the first one that says their involvement, which is weird. Is that right? I think, that's
according to your thing. Like, I mean, the original creators and concept of it, but then this is the one they've had a direct hand in crafting, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it. Because I'm looking back, it doesn't look like they really did any writing for any of the other ones. But Feb 25, 1990, 28 million US viewers. I think that's the highest we've had so far in terms of the season, which is good. I guess it's an iconic episode. Let's have a talk about it. Tell me what you've got, Isaac.
I mean, off the top, the premise for this one is a bit strange. It shows, I guess, the difference between Australian history and cities and like small town America, right? Like thinking back, would you care if a local statue had been decapitated?
No. Not at all. I mean, this happened last year, if you remember, like during...
It's all like a political thing, right? Yeah, statues get vandalized and toppled and stuff all the time.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't care. I don't know. Maybe I guess it's the premise of a show, so it doesn't matter. But even looking back at it, even in the last couple of years when they were talking about sort of the Black Lives Matter movement back in like the US, they were destroying like statues of the founders of various cities or whatever that, I don't know, colonized and killed African Americans and whatever. So there was a big uproar about that.
I mean, it's a pretty good political statement. Pull down a statue.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, who cares about a statue?
Yeah. And I mean, the people who were offended by that were really offended by that. So, I don't know, I guess just in Australia, the mentality is a bit different. No one really gives a shit about a statue or the town founder. Yeah,
I think that's it. Which is funny, but they're very patriotic, these Simpsons.
Yeah.
I think it's a good... Yeah. This is not a bad episode, in my opinion.
No.
I said this. I said, my issue with the episode is that the townspeople want Bart's head for stealing their head, but after they hear that he just wanted to fit in, they sort of let him off the hook. And also, how do they know it was Bart? I mean, the angry mob was all together looking for the culprit.
Yeah. I mean, even
Right.
just looking at this, yeah, you keep going.
Well, no, well, that's my thing to you. Like, is that like he had the head in his bag because he told Homer.
Mm.
Then the angry mob run into Bart to like
Mm.
attack him at the start of the episode.
Mm.
How
Well,
did they find out it was him?
I
Did I
don't
miss
know.
something?
Just generally seeing them looking suspicious, I suppose.
Okay. Okay, I will go with that. But I just also, they're like, oh, he just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay, that was my issues with the episode so far. I don't know. Like, that was it. That was the
My main
extent of it. There's
takeaway
nothing more.
from the episode.
Yeah. Besides that, I said Reverend Lovejoy's first episode.
I think
Weirdly,
we see
while he's
Krusty and Sideshow Bob as well.
Yeah, we do. Which is funny because the Krusty doll in
Like Bart's room or something.
Bart's room, I don't know if it's this episode or not, but it's real creepy. It's like not even Krusty. It's like some weird, creepy clown doll, which is the funniest thing.
Sideshow Bob looks pretty bizarre this time as well. Like,
Yeah. Is he too skinny and not comical? Is that what it is?
and his hair.
Does he have his fat gut?
I don't know. His hair is different as well. I think he looks a bit strange.
Yeah. He looks kind of scarier. Weirdly, while he's giving his sermon, this is Reverend Lovejoy, Homer is listening to the football on the radio and the commentator, advertiser, kind of sounds like the Reverend. Which is, I don't know if you noticed that. So the Reverend's giving the sermon and the Reverend is also commentating the football on Homer's radio. Dolph, Kearney, and Jimbo's first episodes too. So the Bullies' first episodes. Jimbo's voice is not the usual monotone, coarse one we all know and love, but it's a higher pitched, more empathetic sort of tone.
Yeah. I mean, did you catch them saying 5-finger discount as well in this episode? They don't say 4-finger discount.
Oh, so, true.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying 5-finger discount for some very bizarre reason.
I feel like they use a lot of the jokes from the first, 20 years of The Simpsons, 10 years of The Simpsons anyway, to make jokes for the later seasons as well. Like we already talked about this for other ones, like the I didn't do it joke in the Krusty episode. Yeah. And they use that for an episode where Bart becomes famous for saying I didn't do it. They do it a couple of times. There's like a couple of other things where I'm like, hey, that's like a prominent thing in a later episode, and it's just like an off the cuff thing that they say in this episode or whatever episode it was. So I think that's funny. So they maybe this, there's this ongoing gag in like pop culture. The Simpsons already did it. They've done everything.
Yeah, I mean there was a South Park episode about Simpson already doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like it's like the Simpsons already did it for the Simpsons. Like the Simpsons are they make things based on things that they've already done.
Parodying themselves, which was a parody of something else.
Yeah, or not even parodying, but just like using an idea and evolving it into a new episode. Yeah, which is interesting. I never noticed that before. I really thought they were making, you know what I mean? I thought every idea was brand new, but you can see like their mentality of looking back and being like, what do we make an episode on? Oh, let's expand this idea we touched on.
Let's revisit this thing that we briefly talked about.
Yeah.
There's definitely some good lines in this one, like what about those smart apes who live among us roller skating and smoking cigars?
That is a good joke. What about, and dude, I can't imagine Jimbo's voice. Yeah. Oh, my shirt's chafing me. Yeah. Oh, now my pants. Imagine like, my shirt's chafing. His new voice where it's like really like high pitched. No. Yeah, it looks so weird. It sounds so weird. I always like hearing. Is this from the same episode? I mean, I'm looking at this now. Am I all over the shop? Let me just have a look. So that's episode. Well, I've said this. I don't even know if this is the same episode anymore. I always find it weird hearing Nancy Cartwright voice for other characters, particularly when she voices female characters like the woman in the film they go and see. Is that the same episode? Is it a different episode? Am I lost?
I don't know.
I think it is. So Nancy Cartwright voices a character in the film they go and see, a female character's voice. Is it Apu's first episode? I've got that too. He's more aggressive and less comical.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they didn't, like, there's heaps of fun jokes about the inconsistencies and, like, the weird timelines that The Simpsons set up with flashback episodes in later seasons that make things in this season make no sense. Like how Homer and Apu appear to not know each other and stuff.
Yeah, and then they
Even
were
though
like, yeah,
the
oh
bee
yeah, of course, even
sharks
they're in a
Yeah.
barber shop quartet together and everything. I said I always find it weird Nancy Cartwright's voice on characters during the movie, but I put that first episode more aggressive, less comical. He's like very aggressive actually. There's a hilarious part where the bullies and Bart are throwing stones at the statue. So I guess we haven't even talked about the premise, but the premise is Bart meets the bullies, wants to fit in. They say, I want to cut the head off that statue. Man, that'd really show these townspeople.
It's just
they're
cloud talk, man. It's just cloud talk.
Yeah, that's exactly. So there's a hilarious part where the bullies and Bart are throwing stones at the statue of Jebediah, and a random townie, I guess the butcher, I don't know, comes out and tells them off. And as they walk away, he yells, "Hey, you," which is clearly copied and pasted and used twice in a row. So it's like, "Hey, you." It's like almost like they've got the same line and copied and pasted.
The Roadrunner meep thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so stupid. It just sounds so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
you go first.
Oh no, what did you write? You tell me.
Well, I wrote down that this episode has a Godfather and Edgar Allan Poe reference in it.
What's the Godfather reference?
I'm imagining with the head in the bed on the pillow next to him. I'm not sure what the Edgar Allan Poe reference was. Why didn't I write that down? Did they do like a Telltale Heart thing with like the head beating you or something? Or
they might have done. Actually, I think they did.
I've written it down.
That was when
I don't remember why I wrote it down. So tell me why I wrote it down. Comments and stuff, please.
Yeah. Comment where that
question.
is. I feel like it might have been when he started feeling guilty and had to confess to Homer. I don't remember.
Maybe?
Remember, guys, we watched this about a month ago. Maybe about a month ago. Yeah. I said I'm glad they changed Chief Wiggum because his original black hair and whiny detective attitude made him such a bore. Oh, they changed him for this episode. He started changing in this episode, so his voice started changing a little bit. He started becoming a bit more nasally, I think. A little bit more, not as much, but his initial voice just didn't match his character. It sounded really dumb.
He's not the Wiggum we love yet, but he's on the path to become Wiggum.
Yeah. So the premise, the boys throwing rocks at the statue, they get in trouble. They go lie and look at the clouds. While they're looking at the clouds, they'd say, "I'd love to cut off the guy's head," or whatever. Bart's like, thinks about that as being a good idea to fit in, and they'd be so impressed. He goes and does it, and then he shows them. Is that right? And he goes, no, he's about to show them.
Yeah, he's about to show them, but they're complaining that someone did it and that they want to beat up the person that did it.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe someone cut off his head. Man." And then Bart goes, "Well, I thought you guys said it'd be cool." And then, Jimbo's like, "That was just cloud talk, man," as they were looking at the clouds. And they're like, "Yeah, if I met the person that cut off the statue's head, I would," because all the town are up in arms about it happening, and Bart decides to shut his bag instead of showing them the head that he's just decapitated off the statue, because he's like, "Oh, they're going to kill me instead." Which is funny. Did you see the name of did you see Jebediah's real name? You wrote this down, surely.
Oh, I don't think I did. What was it?
His full name?
No.
His name, I think it was the news. No, Hans Sprungfeld. No, it was Jebediah, Obadiah, Zachariah, Jedediah, Springfield.
I didn't. No.
Did you hear that? I think it was on a news report.
Oh, no, I didn't. Whoops.
Yeah. So, I mean, try and spell that. If you can spell, if you're good at spelling, write that in the comments below. I'd like to see how it's written. I've written.
Try and say it quickly now, and then see how many attempts you can do it. Doing it like 5 times.
Jebediah, Obadiah, Zachariah, Jedediah, Springfield. Jebediah, Obadiah, Zachariah, Jedediah, Springfield. Jebediah, Obadiah, Zachariah, Jedediah, Springfield. I think they're all names too, because I put them into like a Word doc and none of them came up as spelling errors. So I think they're legitimate names.
They're real names. I wonder how many.
Yeah, they're real names.
Jedediah
or Zachariah is fair enough, but Obadiah, Jedediah.
Not a common name over here, is it?
No, it isn't. I think I wrote Jedediah twice, but it's Jebediah. Jebediah, Obadiah, Zachariah, Jedediah, Springfield. Funny. You never hear that again, I don't think, in a single other episode.
It's an elaborate fake name to come up with.
Yeah. Do you have anything sort of funny to. I've got some good quotes actually.
Mhm.
At the start, they're talking about who goes to heaven with the Sunday school teacher, and it like cuts
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Well, and then she goes, "For the last time, Bart, the ventriloquist goes to heaven, and the dummy
Yeah.
doesn't."
All those dumb questions that they're asking that Sunday school teacher. That's such a good joke because that's exactly what kids are like. Like
Yeah, literally.
my nieces and
Oh, no,
nephews,
no.
they'll just say the most unprompted, no context bullshit questions.
And it's
where you're
just like
"How
unhinged. It's
six?"
unhinged.
I don't know.
Yeah, literally. Here we go. Bart asks, "What if your leg gets What if your leg gets gangrene? Has to be amputated?
Yeah.
Will it be waiting for you in heaven?" And the Sunday school teacher says, "For the last time, Bart, yes," which is funny. Yeah, that's about all I really had for the episode. Do you have anything to add? That's funny.
I don't really have any closing remarks on it. I don't know what else was there. There was a part where it's a personal stereo. Were you going to listen to rock music in church? It's a great line.
That is pretty funny. Rock music. It's so funny because like I feel like that might have been the mentality in the 80s as well, or 70s. I don't know. Maybe. Is the Simpsons set in its time, or is it set
I think
in
the
a
Simpsons
previous
is like permanently set in the late 80s, early 90s, no matter how many seasons pass. Although I think recent seasons, they have like
mobiles and stuff?
mobiles and like gaming computers and all sorts of nonsense. So who knows?
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because I'm always like the mentality, I guess it's just like, it's obviously over the top and hyperbolic to be like, for the comedy stylings, like the rock music quote's pretty funny, but they maintain that, don't they? That's another Simpsons comedy styling.
Yeah, we're just keeping that sort of churchy nonsense going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Closing
Where
remarks.
am I at?
Or the
Yeah,
general
I don't know.
thoughts?
No, I think that's it. Where is it sitting on your episode list? I liked it, I think. Liked it enough.
My exact notes are it's a textbook B tier for me.
Yeah.
Like
so.
I
I've got
wouldn't-
BC, so B maybe. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't skip it. It's not bad enough that I'd skip it, but I'd never look for it. And if it was on, I'd watch it. But yeah, I think it's like a definition of B tier.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I tend to agree. It's one of those episodes where the story is actually pretty good. The premise is good. The story is good. There's some good jokes in it. I wasn't bored like I was in the previous episode during the ape or the Bigfoot finding part.
I think it just doesn't have a resolution that sort of fits the episode. It sort of just ends like, oh yeah, like you were saying, they go, oh yeah, well, you're just trying to fit in anyway. Moving on.
Yeah. The premise is good. The writing's not that good, I would say.
I mean,
You know what I
obviously
mean?
there's only so much they can do in like a 22, 23 minute format, but like, I don't know. I feel like they would have done something different in later seasons.
Let me ask you a question. They finished this with a funny ending. So, for instance, the episode, is it Marge Be Not Proud? No, it's the episode where Bart burns down the Christmas tree. Right? They write a really untypical, untropy ending for that, where the Simpsons end up stealing all their money basically because they lied and they said that they got their presents stolen by someone when Bart actually burnt them and he hid it. And the townspeople they wanted to forgive the Simpsons because they were sick of being mad at them. So instead of there being like a really tropey, boring, cringy ending where they forgive them, they just end up stealing all their stuff to make their money back.
Yeah.
And the Simpsons, it's like a funny ending. If they had a funny ending to this episode like that, where, I don't know, they do something like Bart goes to jail or something, I don't know, something funny where it's like you don't expect it, unexpected. I feel like this is then elevated to an A tier in that the premise is good, the jokes are pretty good because there's some funny, the cloud joke's good, some
the
Homer Simpson
resolution
jokes are good.
is too easy for like the problem of the arc. Like
100%. They're too upset about it to be like, oh, he wanted to fit in, let's help him magically get Jebediah back. It's too cringy to be a Simpsons episode. The resolution.
Yeah, I think like they hadn't established most of the town as complete jerkbags, where they will later on, like every single character is a complete jerk and would steal the belongings from the Simpsons to make their money back. Like,
yes, exactly. It's too nice and too lame to be a Simpsons ending. It needs to be something more comical.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm not in the writer's room. I thought of this in 5 seconds, like adding a statue of Bart to Jebediah's statue where Jebediah is like standing on Bart or something, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Or Bart has to clean the statue as punishment.
Yeah. Just some sort of comedic end that makes Bart get his comeuppance or something.
Or better yet, the bullies do something to Bart and say, like, you'll never join our clique or whatever. Yeah, okay, it's not funny, but at least we know where Bart stands. He was trying to fit in. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, no, you know, I don't know. I didn't like the ending.
He's like standing on a bear or something, isn't he? Like he's got one leg up on a... So like if they, I don't know, made that Bart instead of the bear or something, would have been like a Simpsons ending that we're more used to from later seasons.
Yeah, for sure. So where are we putting it? Where are we sitting this? Have we placed it?
I said B.
I'm going to go B as well. Let's put it in B. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Bs in this season because it's funny. Yeah, it's like, let's move on. Okay, so B tier.
They haven't reached the highs, but they definitely haven't reached the lows of some later seasons.
No.
Yeah.
No, they haven't. Season 2 has some stinkers, but let's move on. Episode 9, is that right? We're up to episode 9.
Yeah.
We're talking about Life on the Fast Lane, directed by David Silverman and written by John Swartzwelder. March 18, 1990. 33.5 million viewers. Pretty good. This is a classic. The throwbacks to this episode and the fact that Marge was almost unfaithful to Homer really epitomizes or sort of, I don't know, the relationship Homer and Marge have. I don't know. It makes you kind of view Marge in a poor light, but then view initially.
Yeah, I mean, to peek a little bit into the future, I mean, the episode directly after this tackles very similar themes. So, like, it's a pretty big swing for the show. I think we said this in the first recording too. Like, the show makes some pretty big swings for its first season. You know, like
it's pretty out there and outlandish. Yeah, for sure. Suicide, infidelity, depression, far out. There's so much. Life on the Fast Lane. Homer's gift for Marge prompts her to take up bowling, and an instructor who teaches many. Sorry, I've got to click the episode. I think we're going to get a little bit of sound here. The Simpsons. Many. I can't actually read the episode synopsis, but teaches many. There's something I don't know what it says. Point is, Homer gets Marge a gift, and she takes up bowling to spite him. I'll read you the actual plot. It says, having forgotten about Marge's birthday, Homer rushes to the Springfield Mall and impulsively buys her a bowling ball. Marge is not impressed with the gift and after discovering that he intends to use it, she decides to spite him by going bowling herself. While at the alley, she meets Jacques, a charming French bowling instructor who offers her lessons. Jacques begins to fall for Marge and invites her to his apartment. Although she agrees, Marge undergoes a moral dilemma. In the end, Marge visits Homer at the nuclear plant. Oh my God, do I have some things to say about this episode and that description. Can I just say, before I'll let you say something after this, but I have to say this and I want your reaction.
Okay.
Jacques is described as a charming French bowling instructor.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Do those words go together? I have the exact same line in here. Is Jacques sexy?
No.
Is he a sexy man? I don't know.
No, he's not. No. It's not even subjective. He's objectively annoying and gross.
I mean, like, I'm straight, but I could appreciate a sexy man, you know?
Yeah, of course. Who can't?
Exactly. Everyone's got a percentage of, not straight in them.
Yep.
Jacques is not sexy.
No. Come on, Marge. Throw the ball.
Is it just the accent? Like,
no, I feel like it's not a nice French accent. It's actually very aggressive and very sloppy. And that word is not said lightly. Sloppy. I'm going to say it one more time. Sloppy.
The episode where Bart goes on that like exchange program thing and he's staying with, are they like the French winemakers? It's the same accent. And they're presented as like disgusting piggies. Like,
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. They put like, you know, yeah, that's so true. Like the same accents used. Throw the ball, Marsh, throw Homer. It's like, it's actually, no, it's not appealing. You know, that's not to be racist against French people. I'm saying this one particular voice of this one French dude is not appealing.
I mean, we're both fans of the show In-Betweeners, and the French exchange student is presented as a very sexy French man.
He has a nice French accent.
Yeah, he's a good-looking man. He has a good accent.
This dude has an entirely different accent. It's not, you know, it's not soft and subtle. It's very like
not the poetic French.
Marsh, pick up Homer. It's just gross. I'm like, ugh. He's actually creepy. You know, I'm not a woman, but if I was a woman, I would find this guy uncomfortably creepy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like of the eligible bachelors in Springfield, he's pretty.
And this next bachelor likes women who take their clothes off for money.
Jared, maybe we cut this out in case someone steals our idea, but should we do a tier list on the eligible bachelors and bachelorettes of the Springfield universe?
Do we make that?
I think we keep this.
You know what?
Yeah, leave it in the podcast. We're going to do it. We're putting TM copyright. That's our idea. No one steal it. We're going to do it.
Okay, but that's going to happen. Is that going to happen midway through the 36 seasons, or is that going to happen at the end?
Maybe we can do it as like a Christmas special. I know we're mid-Feb, but Christmas special.
Yeah, Christmas special, eligible bachelors. Who would you like to see under your tree? Who would you like to unwrap?
Yeah.
And remember,
hey, you and the bushes.
Mo, like... And Mo... I'm getting zero over here. I got a zero. I got Bupkis. I got Bushka. I got zero. This lot is rejected.
We've already got a lot on our plate, but, you know, let's just get another ball in there for this
especially given that, let's, you know, the ideas, you know, let's let that percolate a little bit. You know, we haven't started watching season 2 yet. I already dread watching season 2 because it's got the episode Camp Krusty in it, which just sucks.
Look, we'll get there.
But okay,
people
so
should write in and let us know whether Jacques is attractive. Is Jacques an eligible bachelor, or is Jacques Jacques sucks?
I
think it's just Jacques, isn't it?
Is it Jacques?
I think it's just Jacques. I don't know. I think it's
Jacques. I don't know. Jacques.
Anyway, let us know. Let us know how to say it and whether he's sexy. I disagree. Yeah. I don't think he is.
He's not sexy, no. But you let us know, and then if you say he is, we'll tell you why you're wrong. The episode is did I even say? Yeah, so Life on the Fast Lane is the episode's title, but I've got info about the episode. I said this episode was titled Jacques to be Wild in Britain.
Oh, really?
Don't know where I got that information from.
Do they not have fast lanes in Britain, or?
I don't know. I think I like Life on the Fast Lane as a better title. Jacques to be Wild. I mean, that's lame. Is that meant to be like Born to be Wild? Jacques to be Wild.
I don't know.
I don't get it. Barney's Bolorama.
Write in for a lot of reasons, but, you know, British people write in. Let us know why that.
Write in. If you're British, tell us what Jacques to be Wild. Is that a Born to be Wild reference?
You know,
who sings Born to be Wild? Born to be Wild. That's definitely not a British person. That dude's American. He's got to be. Write in about that too. You know, you should start writing in, guys. I want to hear everything. Yeah. But yeah, you can also tell me about Barney's Bolorama. He owned a Bolorama, and then it ended up being his uncle's Bolorama. But this was Barney's Bolorama this episode.
I assume it's like a family name. You know, he's probably like Barney the Fourth or something.
Or did he just fall into a deep depression, become a raging alcoholic, and then lose the Bolorama? I don't know.
His uncle bought it off him or something. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or his uncle just like absolutely, I don't know, just screwed him. But
rinsed him. Yeah.
Jacques was. This is interesting, Isaac. Listen to this. Jacques was originally was originally going to be a Swedish tennis instructor named Bjorn.
See, I feel like that's sexier. No offense to French people, but I think they probably could have pulled off a tennis instructor a bit better than they managed.
Well, particularly
to do.
when Marge,
Jacques, the sexy bowler.
particularly when in Lisa's Rival episode, Marge has a fantasy about a blonde, ripped dude that looks very Swedish.
Oh, is that like the? Is he like a pirate?
The dude that has the pirate. He's like, She says, does that earring mean you're a pirate? And he goes, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Make of what you will from that joke. I mean, this is Lenny's first appearance, but
I like it's weird the Simpsons obsession with bowling. Like, is that a small town America thing or what? Like,
I don't know. I went bowling the other day. Actually, it is. But Homer's a fat drunk.
But like, that's Homer's pastime. That's all his friends' pastime. I mean, Jacques. Like, it's just a constant thing in Springfield that bowling is their like preferred sport. It's
true. Well, I don't know. Is it a preferred sport? I mean, Homer says if horse racing is the sport of kings, then surely bowling is a very good sport as well. I don't know.
I mean, I do have another issue with the premise of this episode, though, which is it presents buying a gift for your partner that actually benefits you is a bad idea. And I'll put this one out there. I bought my partner a KitchenAid years ago, and I've been benefiting from that for years. I get baked goods far too often.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, buy a partner a KitchenAid, you get all the biscuits, cookies, whatever you want. It's fantastic. Great idea.
You definitely feel a lot more inclined to spend more money when you know you can benefit from the present you buy your partner or your friend or whoever it might be.
Yeah. Look,
So, I mean with that being said, in this instance,
it's a great present for her. I enjoy eating baked goods. It's a great present for me.
Yeah, true. I mean, but it does work out like that. But I suppose in this instance, Homer went last minute and got it, and he wanted the ball, and then they're lying in bed, and Marge says, after the present, she goes, I'm going to take up bowling or whatever. He goes, what? You hate bowling or whatever. It was, the joke.
Yeah,
it's just so stupid. I just love that. He's like, he gets annoyed when she said she's going to use it.
I mean,
he goes, oh, so it is for you. And he goes,
it'd be like you or I buy a partner a cricket bat or something, I suppose.
And then her being like, well, I'm just going to use it. What? No, like, oh, I'll show you how to use it. Oh, no, don't use it until I can show you.
It's built for my size.
Yeah, literally. Hold on, don't use it. I need to show you how to use it first.
Yeah.
It's that thing where you bring your friend over your house to play games, and they'll, you're like, oh, check this thing out. Yeah. That looks cool. Can I have a go? Oh, yeah. Let me just show you this other one thing. Oh, yeah. Let me just show you this one thing. Check out my high
score on Tony Hawk's School 2.
Yeah, literally. Oh, it's so good. Lenny's first appearance. That's important. Not Lenny. Lenny first appearance. He's important, I guess. Yet another episode where there's no intro. I watched this one on Disney Plus, so I guess it must have been a time issue in terms of The episode is pretty iconic because it has the annoying French dude Jacques. Did I write that? Obviously, I don't know why I wrote that. He does make
background appearances again, like even when I think when they become league bowlers, the home wreckers team, which is Princess Cashmere and Jacques, I forget who else is there.
Who is Princess Cashmere?
The next episode, the episode after this one. When Homer and
the stripper.
Homer and Burns and Mo and Otto and Apu are league bowlers, wannabe league bowlers.
The Pin Pals. You should just say the Pin Pals.
Yeah, the Pin Pals. One of the teams that they go up against is the Home Wreckers. And Jacques is one of the team members on that team.
Oh, I never noticed that joke.
Oh, no.
That's hilarious. The Home Wreckers.
Yeah.
So is it all characters that almost ruined Homer and Marge's marriage?
Yeah, exactly. Well, who are the other two? It's Princess Cashmere.
I don't know. It's got to be that dude from high school, Artie Ziff or whatever.
No, I think it's the
Simmons, Mindy.
Probably Mindy, and then the
maybe the girls.
the country singer.
Oh, the country singer.
That Homer. Yeah.
I wonder how they. I want to know the story. There's got to be an episode about how they all met.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's got to be like a convention or something. That's so good.
Tried to record the Simpsons marriage convention.
That's so good. I love that. I didn't even know. I love that episode. You know, just spoiler alert for those that want to watch that in season, I don't know, 5 or whatever that is.
It's a great episode.
Or 6 or whatever. But yeah, it's a great episode. Kind of funny that Jacques buys Marge the hand brace and then tells her $17.50. He goes, I got you something, Marge, and he gives her the brace, and he goes, yes, 17. He says something like, yeah, just give me $17.50. It's so stupid. Marge wasn't wearing socks with the grotty bowling shoes on. That was gross.
Oh, yuck.
Or she was wearing low-cut socks. She takes her shoes off. No, she takes her shoes off. She's not wearing socks.
Yuck. One of the greatest byproducts or outcomes because of COVID, you no longer have to wear bowling shoes.
Is that what that was? Dude, yeah, I went the other day and we didn't have to wear bowling shoes.
Yeah, I can rock up in my Cons, my Vans, and just have a bowl.
Is that what the go is though? Like, well, now that just makes me question the whole premise of bowling shoes. What was the point?
Why did we ever have to put those stinky bowling shoes on? That rarely ever fit me.
Why? Why did we have to wear clown shoes when now we don't? Have they fixed up bowling lane AD. Technology?
We need a new metric. We need to start the calendar again of before
AB after bowling.
Yeah, and now you can wear your own shoes.
Yeah, that's really strange to me though. They must have maybe in the last few months, they're obviously all the technological advancements post-COVID, with the vaccines that are developed and all the other things and, rapid swabs and all that. And they're like, we need rapid lane technology where we can use any shoes on the lane.
Yeah. Or they've integrated whatever it is in bowling shoes into every shoe on the market.
They're like, in case you ever need to bowl in any other shoes. What happens if you rock up in I don't know, slides or something?
I'm pretty sure it has to be a closed-in shoe, but you can question the people at the front desk next week when you go bowling because it's a weekly activity.
Yeah, it's becoming it because I'm really into bowling after seeing Jacques as a real pro. That's how you pick up ladies out there, guys.
That's how you meet sexy Frenchmen. Just head to the lanes.
Well, that's it. I said grotty bowling shoes, Marge no socks. I said this episode is the first time I noticed the Simpsons house finally looking the correct colours, especially in the morning shot the day Marge is meant to meet Jacques.
They have they used to have some weird gradient walls and stuff. They weren't just one solid tone colour. It was weird, sunrisey, sunsetty sort of gradients. It was very bizarre. But I do know what you mean.
And my final thing, my final insight is the final scene is a reference to An Officer and a Gentleman when Homer takes Marge out of work and, someone says something like, go get her, Homer, or whatever. It's go, whatever he says. I don't know what he says, but it's An Officer and a Gentleman quote. I've actually never seen it, so I wouldn't know. Yeah. I think I have the quote. And then I've got some good quotes here. I said, there's a good joke when the bowling alley attendant says, what shoe size are you? And Marge says 13AA. And he says, 13AA. This is the closest I have is a 9 or a 15.
That's exactly what it's like every time I went bowling. So now I wear my own shoes.
I mean, yeah, literally. Marge, I've got another one. Marge is at brunch and Jacques and Helen Lovejoy comes over and says, Marge Simpson, you remember me? I'm Helen Lovejoy, the gossipy wife of the minister.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a funny one.
Herself as the gossipy wife.
Yeah, as a gossipy wife. After she sees Marge with another guy eating brunch. I'm the gossipy wife of the minister.
Yeah, why even try and set up your characters with a show, don't tell kind of attitude? No, just tell them exactly what your character is.
Hi, I'm the one that tells everyone secrets out loud. It's me. Yeah. And then my final quote, I've got Jacques says to Marge about Helen, you have a lovely friend there. Let's hope something runs her over. It's so funny. I think that's a good one. Which is a good one by Jacques, considering he's such a creepy, gross weirdo.
Douche nozzle, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything to say? I do a lot of talking in this podcast. I feel like it's a lot of me talking. Maybe next episode you can tell me what you've got for that episode.
I mean, you've covered off a lot of it. I can move to my closing remarks, which is more just about how it's like it is a big swing for them to take, adultery this early on in the run. And they do it again in the next episode, kind of. I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty...
this is an ideological thing, I guess, but it's less severe in the next episode.
Yeah.
Well, Marge has every intention of getting with Jacques. Homer does not.
Yeah. I mean, is that the male bias in us? I don't know. But it's like, it does feel less severe because he's not trying to get with Princess Kashmir. And I suppose Marge isn't.
He's just at a party with a stripper.
With Jacques. She just considers it when Jacques has been the one who's been initiating.
Well, it's not that she's trying.
Yeah.
No, it's not that she's trying, but it's that he invited her to his hotel room or whatever, and she knew what was going on because it's very evident that she is aware what's going to happen out of it as she's driving there.
Yeah.
As she's seeing all the signs that say, stay with your husband and don't do it, Marge, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's clear. Whereas Homer had no intention of, having a relationship with Princess Kashmir. He just danced next to her and sort of with her with a bunch of other dudes at a party.
Which, depending on your relationship, yes, could be a thing that your partner is not comfortable with and you shouldn't do if your partner isn't comfortable with it. But,
absolutely.
It is
absolutely
less severe than,
But I'm referring to intention here. Intention. What's the intention behind it?
On the cusp of actually committing real adultery, like this episode.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, this episode just it leaves you drained, like depressed and drained, like the Lisa episode earlier. Like it does have good, funny moments, like you were listing off before, but like it's another one of those ones where I just don't think they've found that balance of like emotional and heartfelt. Like when she picks Homer, you don't feel like she's picked Homer. It like for any positive reason, she's picked Homer because that's comfortable and that like it doesn't destroy her family or something. Not because
it's the morally correct thing to do as well.
It's not like she's picked Homer because he is the better option or something. Like it does just leave you like, oh, yuck.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh well, it worked out in the end because it worked out for Homer. But did Homer actually do anything to rectify the fact that he was being a selfish?
He was being selfish ass. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't.
I don't think he did.
Doesn't earn her back or win her back or anything like that. It's like he was sort of just there and let her. I don't know, like make the decision herself. But
yeah, she's like, oh, actually, maybe he didn't mean to be so bad. I'm going to go see him.
And he's still a dick. He's still a jerk, insensitive or whatever. But
yeah, I guess there's an inherent like love for him, which is, I guess, a nice thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they are meant to be together. But, I don't know. You're right. It doesn't really leave you with a really sweet
taste. They are meant to be together because look at how much Homer cares because he doesn't really do anything to show that he cares. Yeah.
It's just comfortable. That's it. But yeah, where did you put that episode?
With all that said, I think I rated it similarly to the Lisa Bleeding Gums Murphy episode with C tier.
Okay, that's interesting.
What did you put?
Well, for me, I've put it BC, which is, I reckon, AB.
Jesus.
Yeah, I liked it as much as I didn't like Jacques. I didn't mind the idea of it. I'm happy to concede. You've conceded for me already with that.
It definitely has funny moments, but it's another one of those. I just don't think they had the balance of like heartfelt and comedic at the same time yet.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. There's some good jokes in it though, which I think are good jokes.
Good enough to bring it up. Well, are we happy to meet in the middle again with B or something?
Yeah, I think let's go B. I think, man, I told you it was going to be a long B list here. There's nothing amazing. There's nothing great. There's a lot that's like, if it's on, we'll watch it. I think this is another one of those, right? I don't think it's choose not to watch, in my opinion. I actually thought it was pretty good. I thought it could have been. In comparison, and if I'm comparing it to the other episodes in the season, it's A tier because I like it a lot. I like some of the jokes, but yeah, let's go. I think B's fair. We could move it down.
I think it sort of like if you were watching this as it was released weekly, you know, I wouldn't be comparing it to the episode before it and the episode after it. You know, like the episode before it, it has comedy. I think it's funny, and this one has comedy moments, but at the end, I feel sad. Whereas if I'm, the episode before this, I watch it and I'm still sort of laughing towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, okay. I tend to agree.
But if you're watching it weekly, I guess you'd be, you would have less to compare it to because what would you watch after this? Neighbours or some crap like that. So it's always going to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, 100%. So I think B's sufficient. Yeah.
I mean, you can use your one veto to move it up if you want. I'm not going to use my veto to move it down.
Well, I feel like I had my veto moving the other one down a bit.
I think we've met in the middle for both, but like,
I reckon we could move it up, but
you reckon
we're congesting the B's a little bit?
Okay, tell me, like, what quotes and moments are putting it in like A for you?
I think just there's a couple of funny quotes in there. I did like the bowling shoes quote. Yeah. I do like the fact that it refers to Homer's love for bowling. It does represent Homer as Homer is towards the later seasons. Moving forward, it started to represent Homer as a bit more selfish, which he is, and a bit less caring. Like the joke where they're in the bed and Marge says, "I'm going to use the ball then tomorrow," and he actually complains. He goes, "What? You don't even like bowling?" Even after he buys her the ball. That is literally peak Homer. That is Homer. So it's representing Homer as he is. It's not that annoying, "Oh, well, let's do what's right for the family" type of Homer.
Yeah.
The original sort of like.
But if you're considering moving it up, consider it like what are the other episodes in B tier? Like we put, I don't know, the last two episodes we did in B tier, didn't we? So like compare it to some of the jokes in the Call of the Wild one or whatever.
That's true. I guess initial RV jokes are better. So maybe it's on par then. I think this one's more of a classic. The Call of the Wild one is not a classic. This is a classic that's referenced a number of times after this episode as well. Call of the Wild is not referenced ever again. Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
They're like canon versus semi-canon versus not canon kind of episodes.
Yeah. Maybe it's semi-canon. Maybe they reference Homer being Bigfoot again in a later season. I don't recall it.
Yeah, well,
it's not that integral.
This one is definitely like a canon episode because, Jacques shows up again and,
And, they talk about it and everything in a later episodes. So that's why I think this could be A tier.
Okay. Well,
it's definitely not S tier. We can agree on that. But, I think an A tier maybe. You said C tier. I think jumping 2 tiers might be extravagant.
It doesn't land. Like, I think that's where I put if that's where I put the Lisa episode, then like, cause it leaves me feeling a similar way. So where did I put Lisa? Where did we put the Bleeding Gums Murphy episode?
I just find Bleeding Gums a bit of a boring character.
Yeah. But okay. Well, where did we put the Bleeding Gums Murphy episode? Was it C?
I think we put it in B.
Did we actually?
I wanted to put it in C. Maybe we put it in C.
Did we?
I wanted to put it in C if nothing else. So we might have put it in C, I would say. I didn't like the episode that much.
I feel like we put it in C. So, yes, I feel like this episode has more jokes and comedy moments than the Bleeding Gums Murphy episode. So, I'd want it to be higher than that episode, but it leaves me feeling a similar way.
I reckon let's just keep it in B. I think that's fair. B is fine.
Yeah.
Let's keep it in B. Let's move on. Episode 10. Let's do it. So this is called Homer's Night Out. This is not an episode that I recall watching as a kid that often, if ever. I don't know if it's something you remember watching it as a kid on Channel 10.
I don't think it has any, there's plenty of Simpsons episodes that have jokes and moments that can be like funny to children, hence why we watched it as children. I don't think this episode really would land with children the same way.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's not definitely not a child. It's not a child-centric episode.
So we wouldn't.
Or
we just
child-centered.
wouldn't remember it from our childhood because we wouldn't quote things from this episode or anything like that.
Nah, I didn't. I never went back to watch it again. But it says on Disney Plus, Shutterbug Bart captures Homer with a sexy entertainer at a bachelor party. When the hell do you ever refer to Bart as a shutterbug?
Yeah, right. For this one part of the episode where he's got his little
Shutterbug Bart who takes photos one time,
acting like he's Nightcrawler or something.
yeah, literally. Where he's bloody Jake Gyllenhaal in Zodiac or something, like he's investigating and a shutterbug and all this.
Isn't Jake Gyllenhaal Nightcrawler? I'm sure he is.
Oh, yeah.
Like his other famous movie, Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is.
Is he? I'm going to Google it right now. Nightcrawler.
Yeah, look that up. I'm pretty sure he is, though.
I'm pretty sure he's
This is a John Vitti episode, though. Very famous name. Yeah, so while you're looking up whether Jake Gyllenhaal is Nightcrawler, which I'm pretty sure he is, 30.3 million
Jake
US
Gyllenhaal.
viewers. It is? Yeah, cool.
Gyllenhaal. I don't know.
Gyllenhaal, I think. So this is the actual synopsis. Bart purchases a mini spy camera and manages to take a picture of Homer dancing next to a stripper named Princess Cashmere at a co-worker's strip club party. It's not a strip club party though, is it? Because it's at a a restaurant. Yeah, stag do. It's not a strip club party. It's not at a strip club. Yeah. But anyway, he gives copies of the picture to his friends, and eventually the pictures start to circulate around until Marge eventually sees it. She kicks Homer out of the house, but the next day explains that she is not upset about his dancing next to a woman, but rather that Bart saw it. She demands that he take Bart and go apologize to Princess Cashmere. Homer agrees and says he is ready to start respecting women. I think that the idea of this episode is a good idea. I might come off really poor in saying this. I don't know if it's disrespectful to dance with a stripper.
Should we just skip all of this to avoid any possible negative comments?
Any possible repercussions that anyone might have? Yeah, maybe.
I think we have to. Let's just, get it done. Sex positives, sex workers, it's a good industry. If you're not being, oh God, let's just cut all of this. And how do we tackle this? I don't think
let's not get cancelled episode. Let's not get cancelled episode
to tackle
2.
this sort of thing, are we?
I have zero experience with sex workers or strippers, so I'm not anyone to talk about sex work or stripping. But whatever.
The sex industry it can be quite yucky in many, many ways.
And people can be disrespected in it.
Sex workers should be respected and treated with respect and all that sort of thing. But if that is the event and that is what is planned and that is what is consensual with all parties, then dancing with a sex worker is not a bad thing, as long as that is what has been discussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's probably the best way we can put that. What do I say about the episode?
We tried our best, please. We tried our best.
Write in if you have any. No, please don't write in about this. Let's move on.
Move on.
I hadn't been watching the intros intently, but this had a different part where Bart skates past the bus stop and he takes the bus. He takes a bus sign and drives past the group of people waiting. Did I already? I said this a while ago.
Yeah. So
I might have said it's not prematurely about this episode,
just because of run times, we imagine. But yeah, this is the first iteration of the intro, and obviously it changes a couple of seasons in, and then changes again. I think after the Simpsons movie, it changes again, somewhere around there. So it does change a few times.
Yeah. Now I could be wrong about this next thing that I've said.
Oh.
This is right. Homer has an assistant named Eugene. Work that out. Homer has an assistant.
Yes.
But he mentions that a girl works at the plant, but I'm almost positive, but maybe I'm starting to fall to a point of where I'm at 70% positive that when Mindy started working at the plant, she was the only woman at the plant at the time.
Is that
although Marge also
said in the episode?
I think so. They do say it's about time we got some women around here or something like that in that episode. But then they talk about the girl who works in another section of the plant.
Because it's meant to be like a diversity hire or something, isn't it? Is that the joke of the episode?
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
And then Marge also gets employed at the plant at one stage too, whether it's after or before Mindy. What I'm saying is...
It's the inconsistencies.
It's just... there's inconsistencies, whatever.
But it is a good joke for like Eugene is Homer's assistant, and then they do the flash forward, and it's his wedding, and he's Homer's boss and stuff. It's good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I do like. I said I like the fact that Bart's piggy bank has been taped together after Homer breaks it in episode 3. We said that already. Carl's voice sounds like a nerdier Frank Grimes or something. He goes, "Okay, Eugene, one last time."
I just wrote, what is going on with Lenny and Carl's voices? That's all I wrote.
Lenny's is a little bit normal-ish, I guess. Not really, but Carl's is completely nerdy. Like, he is just very nerdy. Yeah. Okay, Eugene. You know what I mean? Like, really, just sounds nothing like Carl.
Actually, Jared, I've looked forward to some of my other notes here, and we might need to touch on the sex work thing again. Let's just keep going.
Let's circle back. I feel like photography is extremely artistic, yet Martin Prince is the club photography leader. Which is, I guess, he just wants to be involved in all aspects of the school.
Yeah,
but
all extracurriculars.
I guess, he's meant to be a nerd, but he's good at everything. Photography, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, very
even
not
like,
stereotypical.
Even nerd, like even just factual nerds still like artistic statues and Mona Lisa and that sort of crap, right? So.
Yeah, true. Well, I can live with that, I guess. I like that Smithers' glasses become less thick with the newer technology.
Oh, sorry.
Updates.
Back on the Martin thing, he does the acting show, doesn't he? And he does like some Shakespeare thing, doesn't he? I don't know. There's something where he puts on a presentation and he does the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, during the episode where Bart brings in his dog and he's like, boom, that's the sound of the meteor exploding or whatever, and then people aren't listening.
Yeah.
And there's also one where he's singing
he's very dramatic and artistic as well as...
Yeah, he is.
Like strictly maths, English, science.
While we do this, I just think about all the episodes we're going to talk about, and I just think, oh my God, I'm so excited.
God, I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, like some of the Treehouse of Horror episodes that are just awesome. But anyway, Smithers' glasses frames get...
keep going. I just had an idea.
Smithers' glasses frames get less thick. Also, the first time Apu and Homer meet, and...
Yeah, doesn't know Homer. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny, because obviously they're in a band together, like we said.
What are the clothes famous flubs of The Simpsons that is always referenced?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Flubs.
What are the clothes lying around when Homer is thrown out? Yellow polka dot pants. Like Marge throws Homer on his bum outside of the house and throws his stuff outside.
Yeah.
And in his suitcases were yellow polka dot pants.
Not sure we've ever seen those before. Not his disco stud jacket or anything like that.
Nah, nothing like that. Yeah. Why does it say disco stew? What was the song that was playing at the party Barney went to? Rasputin?
Was it?
I think it was that song. Rasputin.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was that.
Is that Bonnie M? Or am I thinking of is that right?
I think so. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it was that song though.
Let's have a look.
I'm pretty sure. Look it up. While you're looking that up, any memorable quotes? Boney M. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this one has really like many memorable quotes. I mean, there's just like some shit takes. Like Marge just has an absolute like shit take of the whole situation, considering the episode that came before this. Like if we were to imagine that Simpsons was in like a chronological order in terms of like real events, what like a week ago she was nearly having an affair. So like
yeah. I mean,
take.
Is this going to get us in hot water saying that I don't know if what Homer did can equate to what Marge did.
Yeah. I mean,
she developed a relationship with Jack.
Yeah. I mean, he dances with Princess Kashmir. Like, if, again, sex work, if that's what was consensual, blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. But everyone is acting like he, like, plowed her on the front stage at a sexpo or something, you know, like he's some sort of deviant or something. Like the whole town is acting like he's got a swinging kink or something, you know?
And when they got the sex worker to the party, what did they expect to be happening? Because it almost felt like the entire town was ridiculing Homer for dancing with the sex worker. He didn't organize a sex worker to come.
I mean, I guess
someone else
just
did.
All the, like what we were like, overreacting for comedy. Like we see the thing later with the sex cauldron, all that stuff in later seasons, how they're acting so poorly about a burlesque house or something. But
I do like the comedic aspect of this episode where the dad gives a very heartfelt speech to his, you know, for his son who's getting married or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a really tame party, which is what they'd expected. Obviously, and then obviously it just all hell
Princess
breaks loose.
Kashmir
The dad
out.
and it just turns into a really drunk fest. And the dad and the son are just like not into it at all. And it's like, it's for the son. It's just so funny.
I mean, the whole town's treating Homer like he's freaking Hugh Hefner or something, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, okay, it's a bit much. Why? Yeah, I mean, why was a stripper allowed in a party event where it's at a restaurant? It's like it's a party event room at the back of a restaurant that women and children and whatever else are allowed to go to.
No restaurant I've ever been to has had that happen. I'll be honest.
Not many have function rooms, but not how many have function rooms where they allow strippers.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in plenty of function rooms, but not like that.
Yeah, as a vibe. There's a pub near me called Beep. I was going to say the name, I won't. And they have a function room there, and you know, I've been to part. You know, if you're allowed to go to the bottom, if you've hired out the function room, people can't come to the function room unless they're part of the party or whatever. But I don't know if that allows strippers into it. I doubt it somehow.
No, they want like a family-friendly thing, right?
Yeah, you know, okay, there's alcohol, so it's meant to be 18 plus, but I still don't think that allows strippers.
I don't know. I don't know. I think like even in the burlesque house episode, they get the citizens of Springfield to ridicule people who go there, but then immediately show how many of them actually visit the burlesque house and how none of them actually really have any issue with the burlesque house. They're just saying they have issue with it because everyone else is saying they have issue with it.
Because it's taboo, yeah.
Yeah.
The only issue with that episode is it does seem to be condoning underage, like minors to be in there, like Bart working there, which would be illegal.
Yeah. But, I mean, they play it off as very comical that the town cares so much about the burlesque house. Whereas in this, I don't think they play it as a comedy. They're actually, like, shunning Homer for this. Or, I mean, if
they're just taking the piss out of him. I don't know if they're shunning him. They're taking the piss out of him because they're like, oh, the dancing man dancing with like a stripper. I don't know. But yeah, it does seem like Homer is copying it. Yeah, small town. I don't know. It's one of those things.
And our official stance is we are sex positive and sex workers should be treated with respect. So that's the clip that we would like to be isolated and remembered.
Yeah, okay. I might
timestamp
this so I don't cut that out.
Yeah. Don't cut that part out either.
Because I did come in with saying, I don't know how I feel about Homer getting in trouble for dancing with a stripper. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, look, we're not the most qualified to talk about this.
Yeah. But, you know, the episode
if you're a
itself,
sex worker, please write in and tell us how we're wrong and how we should have represented you.
Comment below or write into crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com.
There's plenty more episodes that sort of talk about this sort of thing, obviously the burlesque house. So, you know, correct us now so we could talk about it correctly later on.
Yep. Give us some funny insights too. I want to know. Tell us your stories.
Story. Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
That'd be good. Sex work stories. Yeah, that can be a segment next episode.
Well, talking about segments, I just thought like we should skip Treehouse of Horror episodes and do all of them in October. So we should just skip them every season.
That is a great idea.
Yeah. We should definitely.
Okay, write in and tell us if you think we should do that.
Write in and tell us if you think we're telling you to write in and tell us too many things.
Oh God, there's gonna be so much writing to read through. Or no, I don't know, but we say write in.
Yeah.
How many listeners do we have so far? 0. But and you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not cutting because I was cutting up. I'm cutting up too much in these episodes. I've had enough of it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. Whatever we record right now is just gonna stay in, even if there's mic blemishes and whatever. I don't care.
Jared is.
Oh, great. Cut.
Leave that in.
Cut 1:30. 19. I wonder if I have to cut that because what sort of idiot is actually going to take that as?
I think you leave it
fact.
in there, but just beep it. Write in and tell us what you think Jared said in the part that we beeped. So.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm beeping it. Write in and tell me what you think I am that Isaac said I was.
Yeah.
Beep.
We'll reveal it at episode 200.
It'll be one of our spooky reveals in October, so stay tuned for the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Okay, so getting down to it. Yeah, episode 10. What were your thoughts on episode 10? I wrote that I liked it. I said this is a direct quote from Jazzy J's mouth. Not the worst in terms of, I suppose, season 1 episodes. The end is horrible and the speech is not super emotional despite having a good message.
Yeah.
So the message of the speech is so Homer goes and apologizes and ends up giving a speech because he tries to find Princess Cashmere to apologize to show Bart because Marge kicks him out because she's humiliated about it all and upset that Bart saw Homer dancing with a stripper, which is fair enough, 100% fair. And then, to make it look like, to make a good impression and make sure that Bart is aware that it's not the right thing to just objectify women is he wanted to go and apologize to her. Brings Bart. There's a heartfelt speech. Like, these women are your daughters and our people that we love and all the things. I don't know. It just wasn't a great speech though. Like, it wasn't.
No.
I can't remember it that well though now.
I mean, again, being America in the 90s, they were probably limited in what they really could and couldn't sort of say about it, I suppose. Like, if we're being charitable,
Yeah. I suppose we could say that. But everyone starts crying, going, "I'm going to go tell my mum I love her," and whatever. And you're like,
it's a bit,
It's a bit like, it was a bit like cringy for a Simpsons episode. A lot of them would be a lot more comical.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't push the boundaries as much. The idea is good. The premise of the message is good, but I thought the ending was a bit cliche.
Yes. So, positivity towards sex workers and respect for adult and sex workers. Yes, thank you. Just keep putting that in there.
The message is horrible, but also, yes.
Yeah.
We love everyone.
I had to put this as a C. I mean,
Yeah.
Look, I rated this one and the one before it both as C's. They both sort of tackle the same kind of thing in different ways. I mean, the story is the setup for the story is a good one. Like, it's a sitcom sort of trope, right? Like, oh no, my partner saw a stripper or went to a Bucks party, and it's a very common trope for many sitcoms. So, good premise, poor execution. Yeah.
Very poor execution. I thought it was C2. I wouldn't watch it ever again. No jokes.
No.
All the characters, I didn't care about them because I didn't know any of them really. No recurring characters really, besides obviously the Simpsons and.
I mean, Princess Cashmere shows up from time to time, but not like a.
Yeah, very rarely.
Yeah, not the focus of an episode.
The irony is that Homer does go on to, belittle women a couple of times in future episodes, when he goes to buy Mr. Plow and says, it's a couple thousand times when he goes to buy Mr. Plow and he goes, "Do you come with the car?"
Yeah.
And, and et al. So, here we are. But, it's all for comedy and it doesn't, they don't mean it. And I don't know.
And love and respect to all adult and sex workers. We're laughing, but that is
God,
what we
okay.
mean. We're just trying to cover our tracks.
We mean it, but yeah. The episode sucked. See,
Let's
move on.
Yes. Please, let's move on.
Yeah, love and respect. The episode sucked. Episode 11, The Crepes of Wrath. Directed by Wes Archer and Milton Gray. Not to be confused with Milton Gay, who is nobody. Written by George Meyer, Sam Simon, John Schwartzwelder, and John Vitti. US viewers 31.2 million. Disney Plus, right? Sorry, Disney Plus. I'm all over the shop right now. A story about how Bart saves France from blowing up Principal Skinner's mum with a cherry bomb. Sorry, if I change one word in that, that'll make more sense. Can I read that again?
Yeah, try again.
A story about. Sorry, love and respect to whoever wrote this title, this description.
And
a story about
workers
and French people. A story about how Bart saves France. Except. Okay, sorry. A story about
one more time.
Okay. A story about how Bart saves France after blowing up Principal Skinner's mum with a cherry bomb.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. I mean, it is a story, but does he save the whole of France? I don't know. He saves people from drinking wine, I guess.
Well,
which makes me feel like I want a wine
or something. Yeah, I do kind of.
It was antifreeze.
Do we need to take a wine break?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right. Just cut it here. We'll be right back.
Yeah, righto. So here we are. I've got my wine. If you hear us sipping, just enjoy it. Pretend you're drinking wine. I've got a Jacobs Creek Merlot 2023.
Oh, that's definitely good year. Good year.
Good year. The post-COVID era is always the best wine era. Because you know that COVID hasn't infected it. And if it has, well, you don't care anymore. Let's be honest.
I did not have a wine in my house. I have actually gone with a Great Northern Original Full Strength, the preferred beer of the Cracker Factory podcast.
That is a preferred beer. Great Northern, if you're up there, hit us up. What are your thoughts on the Super Crisps? Do you like them?
I like anything that Great Northern produces. I'm happy to be an ambassador for them.
I'll say the same for Jacobs Creek because I am getting around this Merlot a lot. I do like this one.
No.
It was hard for me to find a really nice sweet wine.
Yeah, it's got a nice full body flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah, and can I just say that the full body, the tannins are really tanniny and the afterbirth is very afterbirthy and, just it's cheap. It was, I think it's like $13 a bottle, something like that.
No, it's not cheap as in like...
No, it's not cheap as in it's
good value for money. Good value for money. Yeah.
Did I say cheap? I mean, it's rich.
Rich, yes. It'll keep you rich.
In spirit.
Yes, and friendships because everyone enjoys a Jacobs Creek with their friends in social gatherings.
Yep. And we've all been to the Jacobs Creek region. We know where that is. And,
yep.
If you're in the...
Inserted here, I'm just going to say... Western Australia, Queensland, South Australia, Victoria. Which ones haven't I said? Tasmania.
I reckon it's in Adelaide or South Australia.
Adelaide, South Australia. Just cut in whichever one was correct.
Okay, I'll just cut that up. And if I forget to cut it up, well...
It all stays in there.
Yeah.
Northern Territory.
Have we said Tasmania?
I think I said Tasmania. ACT.
Okay, I'm just going to look it up real quick.
New South Wales?
For no other reason in that. I just want to make sure that... the one we said that was correct is correct.
Yeah.
Even though we know it's correct. Jacobs Creek. Yes. Australian Wine Company, Jacobs Creek, first release company. Doesn't say where it's from.
Can't beat that crisp taste of Great
Oh, the Barossa Valley. We all know where that is.
Yeah.
In South Australia.
South Australia, of course. Yeah. As we said.
As we said. Yeah. Where were we at? Oh, yeah, reading the episode. Cool. So Bart, cherry bomb, blows up Skinner's mum, gets sent to France. Skinner and, I was going to say Peter. Shit. What are we talking about? Skinner and Homer. The wine's hitting me, guys. They celebrate Bart's, his removal, his exile, his exile, his
deportation. I think Skinner's
deportation.
exact word is deportation.
Deportation, yeah. So Bart gets in trouble for blowing up Skinner's mum. It's a final straw. They deport him on an exchange program. Homer gets little. His name is, and I quote. You know what? I'm going to read you the actual synopsis of the episode.
Well,
31.2 million viewers, by the way.
I'm just going to enjoy a nice sip of my Great Northern Brewing Co. original beer.
Well, you enjoy it. So, because Principal Skinner finally becomes fed up with Bart's pranks and proposes that Bart be sent to France as part of a student exchange program. The family agrees, and Bart is sent to the beautiful Chateau Maison. Chateau Maison, is that it? Or Mason? I can't even remember. Let's call it Chateau Mason, whatever. Which is actually a dilapidated farmhouse on a neglected vineyard. Bart is treated like a slave by two unscrupulous winemakers, Caesar and Ugelin. Ugelin? Cesar and Ugelin. I don't even remember their names being spoken.
No.
Who eventually feed him wine tainted with antifreeze. Meanwhile, an Albanian boy named Adil starts to live with the Simpsons. Unbeknownst to Homer, Adil is a spy sent by his country to obtain nuclear blueprints from the nuclear plant, which is an awesome B story, and is secretly faxing them home. Back in France, Bart learns French and reports the winemaker's crime to the police. Adil is caught by the FBI and deported. Man, this... I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's a pretty decent episode.
I think so, yeah. Like, I reckon the B story is better than the A story. Like, the
I think so too.
Stuff is funnier than Bart in France.
Yeah,
we talked about their French accents earlier in this episode, but like, God,
Homer posing for the photos in the power plant.
Yeah,
it's just the funniest thing in the world. There's a really funny quote at the end of this episode too, when he writes to Adil or whatever, or yells at Adil on the plane. But so info and insights. What I've got, because Krusty hasn't been introduced in the show yet, but this is it, has a different clown toy, and it's freaky as. It's the freakiest clown I've ever seen. I've written. Do you remember this? It's on the floor or whatever. Dude, it's this creepy clown toy. I'm like, well, who would ever buy this for their kid? It's terrifying. Even as a 10-year-old, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's the wine hitting me, guys. It is 3:52 right here in Victoria in Melbourne. So,
fake East Coast time. Yes.
Yeah, so Bart has a freaky clown toy because there's no Krusty in existence yet. It's the introduction to Skinner's mum and his nickname, Spanky.
I mean, Agnes seems a lot nicer, like, this early on too, right? Like, she's
talking about the kids, she's like, oh, they're so sweet and all the things. Yeah.
She's not like the cruel, controlling Agnes that we know later on.
And the introduction to Agnes, guys and girls, comes from the fact that she's walking through the school with Spanky, Principal Skinner, for some reason. He's showing her around the school. Why is he showing his elderly, let's call her 70, at least 60. She's got to be 70 because he's 40. He's got to be in his 40s.
Something.
Why is he showing his 70-year-old mother around the school?
Take your mother to work day.
Possibly. I couldn't tell you. But, she's interested in learning about the kids for some reason and the school. And she goes to the bathroom, the little girl's room, and gets blown up by a cherry bomb and goes flying through the ceiling, if I recall. Is that what happens? Something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
But I said I actually felt bad for Bart in this episode. They really paint French people as creepy weirdos. Bart also says he met one nice French person after he came back.
Which is like the chief inspector, policeman, or whatever he is.
Yeah, and the thing I want to say to the Simpsons writers early on, particularly George Meyer, Sam Simon, John Schwartzwelder, and John Vitti, which French person hurt you?
Yeah, they've been wronged by a French person, haven't they?
Because goddamn, they paint French people as gross and weird. We're not saying that's the case. In fact, I disagree. I know plenty of French people, and they're all mostly normal.
Love and respect to French people and sex and adult workers.
And particularly French sex and adult workers. Surely someone could check on Bart throughout his 3-month stint.
Right.
Oh, especially when he went on his own and he's in 4th grade. You know what I mean? He went on his own on a plane and he's in 4th grade. So what is he? In 4th grade, how old were we? Can you remember that? 7,
fourth
8,
grade, 8,
10 years
9?
old. 10. Returning 10 that year, right?
Probably, yeah. That sounds
God
right.
damn.
Yeah.
He went to
I
France
was
on his
incapable
own.
of many things when I was 10.
Yeah. You know, not shitting my pants was probably one of them. And this dude went to France on his own. His mum, Marge, did write him a letter, and it actually was very emotional.
Mm. Yeah, I think they did balance the emotions well on this episode, I think. Like,
Yeah.
it's sad, but
Dude,
not like
mega-
depressing and
No, it wasn't depressing. It was just emotional.
Yeah.
You felt for Bart. Like,
yeah.
dude, okay,
Yeah.
he's done some bad things. He's a rapscallion, but he was neglected and treated very poorly by these French dudes.
It gives me the same feeling as like Bart gets an F episode. You know how he like starts crying that he tried this time.
Yeah, like emotionally felt
yeah.
for Bart, but I felt worse because he was actually in danger in this episode.
Yeah.
He was fed antifreeze. I mean,
yeah.
which is definitely a criminal offense. Yeah. Oh,
I'll
the first
jump
time
in.
anyone says, can I say this last one? I've got two more. So I said, this is also the first time any character. You know how before we talked about the fact that the writers in later episodes and later seasons used previous ideas and notions to inform character development and stories for episodes.
Yeah.
This has to be it. This is the first time a character says excellent.
Oh,
and it's Adil.
I did pick up on that. Yes.
Adil
I did
says
pick up
it.
on that. Yeah.
So
Adil
I
has
reckon
some
that's
good
how they.
lines. There's, I don't remember the exact quote, but there is a line where Homer and Adil are talking about like the negatives of capitalism or something around the dinner table, and it's so funny. It's so good.
Yeah, it's funny. I said, okay, Marge's note to Bart was a tearjerker. Like I said, it's kind of sad. You know, we miss you. We hope you're doing well. This happened. Bart, you know, your dad was talking about you as he's gone to bed. He misses you. I don't know. It was actually kind of sad. I was like, God damn, it's super sad. Simpsons is super talked up in terms of the writing, but things like Bart just randomly being fluent in French is kind of annoying. You know, but you need to finish the episode somehow. And then some memorable quotes. I said, Lenny says to Homer, yeah, it's in Sector 12. Homer says, Sector 12? And Lenny says, yeah, by the candy machine. And Homer goes, oh, yeah, that's Sector 12, which is a good one. And then when Homer's saying bye to Adil, because Adil gets, you know, finds out that he's a spy from wherever he's from. Where's he from? Belarus or something? Wherever he's from.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Hold on. I'll get it.
Albania.
Albania.
Albania. I'm just going to quickly put my earpod in because one of them died. So I'm just going to use one for now and charge them.
Yeah, cool. I'm leaving this in, by the way. All this is staying in the podcast, guys.
Oh, good.
You know.
Hey, AirPods, why don't you last longer? How about that?
Yeah. Apple, one of our favorite sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Along with
With
Jacob's
all the money
Creek.
they're making from our podcast, you think they could invest in some better battery life on their AirPods?
And then Homer says bye to Adil. He says, I'll send you those civil defense plans you wanted.
Yeah.
Which is a good one. I did like that. But yeah, Homer's, this again paints Homer in the light that we know and love Homer for. It's the light that Homer is very, very, very stupid.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Okay, tell me about your idea of the episode. Anything you got? What do you got to say? Tell me.
I think you've actually covered most of it. Like, I do like this episode. I think we're looking at a B for me, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
We've said before that I don't think they got the like emotional balance right. I think this episode does. I think they get a good balance between it being quite emotional and sad for Bart, but the villains of this episode actually get their comeuppance. And it's quite funny with the Homer and Adil B story.
Yeah, the B story is strong too.
Yeah,
like the A story and the B story are both strong, and that's what brings it together. And they tie in so well together. They really do.
Yeah.
It's funny you say B. I think maybe I'm the one that puts these episodes on a bit of a higher pedestal than they should be. My exact quote was this. And just to clarify, or just to sort of explain to the listeners, we have sort of a couple of different dot points that we go through, or little subheadings that we go through as for the episodes. We write down our things, and our general thoughts and opinions is where I sort of put my my statement about the episode and my where it sits on our tier list. I said, honestly, I liked the episode. Start is a bit boring, but the whole Bart and France plot is great. The B story with Homer and Adil is funny in parts, and I put it A to B. This is where you might use a bit of your sway because you haven't had that opportunity to bump it down. If you think maybe it does deserve a B, I would put it in A. I feel like we're getting congested with a B, and if I was comparing this to the other episodes, particularly the Lisa's, Sax one and all the other ones, I think it's...
Since some of the things that I've been rating as C have bumped up to B, then this is better than those episodes. So I think by that sort of criteria, this needs to get bumped up to A then. Yeah.
I think it's A.
Because this is definitely better than some of the B episodes that we've put on there. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's got funny, really good jokes, parts where Adil keeps trying to get into the nuclear power plant and getting photos of the power plant for his espionage missions, and Homer just has no idea. And he's like, he's so invested in the nuclear power plant and things. It's funny. One of my AirPods died too. My job and, it's good. My left AirPod just died. So,
Apple, we're fans of your products. Perhaps if we had an extra set of AirPods, we could podcast for longer.
That's it. I have some earphones I could plug in. Maybe I'll have to run and get them. But yeah, no, let's put this in A tier. I think I really liked it. It's up there, I think the jokes let it down if we compare it to a season 5 episode or a season 6 episode or a season 7 episode, a season 4 episode, whatever. Something really, really good it's the comedy that lets it down. The narrative for this episode is pretty good. Borderline, very good.
Definitely good jokes in it, but not it's not consistent laughs. It's
not Homer Goes to College or Pin Pals or whatever else, So yeah, let's leave it at that. A tier. Let's move on. Two more episodes to go.
Nearly there. My readout is saying nearly 2 hours for part 2 of a 13-episode season.
Jeez Louise. We might have to smash through these last 2 very quickly.
All right, go. Episode 12, go.
Okay, so episode 12. Now, I say that, my Disney Plus is closed.
No handbrakes. Keep going.
Bart's TV hero, Krusty the Clown, is arrested for robbery, and the Homer must testify against the clown because Homer was in the Quickie Mart at the time. Just FYI, people. Let me read you the premise. This is Krusty Gets Busted, episode 12, season 1, directed by Brad Bird, written by Jay Kogan and Wallace Wolodarski, April 29, 1990, 30.4 million viewers. It's going up. Well, it went down a bit but from the last episode, but still a lot higher than the previous episodes. While buying an ice cream in the Quickie Mart, Homer witnesses a robbery perpetrated by a man believed to be Krusty the Clown, Bart's idol. He's the host of the Krusty the Clown show, Bart's favorite program. Krusty is sent to jail and his show is taken over by his assistant Sideshow Bob. Bart is certain Krusty is innocent and gathers evidence to support his claim, which he takes to Krusty's best friend, Sideshow Bob. Bart realizes the robbery was actually committed by Bob, who was trying to frame Krusty. Bob is arrested and Krusty thanks Bart for saving him. I've got a bunch of things. Do you want me to smash through my insights really quickly?
Okay, just do a general sort of episode, what you think, and then, let's just get into finer points, I reckon.
Well, can I just say that the fact that Bart captures, finds out through the foot thing is just the stupidest thing. Like, how is that legitimate? That
big
cannot
shoes
be...
to fill. Big shoes to fill. Yeah.
Big shoes to fill. Yeah, literally. Like, that's that is serendipitous, and if anything else, that is an ex machina if I've ever heard one.
Well, The Simpsons has a lot of detective episodes. I think the biggest one is Who Shot Mr. Burns. That's the most famous.
Who can figure it out? Can you?
Yeah, man, that would have been so awesome to have sort of seen that at release and had that experience. But we were both sort of too young for that at the time. But it would have been a pretty cool moment back then. But The Simpsons has a lot of those detective episodes, and they usually do have some sort of dumb solution like that, right? Like the Lisa's whole, he's pointing to west and south for Waylon Smithers, but no, it was from his direction, it was Maggie Simpson and that sort of thing.
Which is bloody, like, again, I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch. But, you know, the episode's, I guess, iconic. Well, no, it is iconic. It is iconic.
It is.
First episode with Sideshow Bob, I think.
It's the first one with, well, I mean, you see him in, I think, a mob with Krusty earlier in the season, but he doesn't look like Sideshow Bob yet.
Yeah,
this
and
is
he's not like
Sideshow Bob.
It's his character is his character. It's the Krusty sidekick.
Yeah.
And you know, the premise is great. Like, it's Krusty. It's Bart's favorite. You know, Krusty's Bart's favorite comic, or whatever you want to call him, like TV personality. And my notes, Sideshow Bob is fat. I said, did you notice the catchphrase Krusty and the kids say after Bob is shot out of the cannon? I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is Bart's catchphrase for a later episode when he becomes famous, which is called Bart Becomes Famous, or Bart Gets Famous. Homer knows Apu now, or he knows Apu's name. So I guess they became acquainted after the first few episodes. Again, they should have known each other anyway because of the B-sharps, whatever. Homer doesn't know Krusty's name when identifying him to the sketch artist, so I imagine Krusty Burger isn't a thing yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there was I feel like I've read a thing about how early versions of The Simpsons, Krusty and Homer were meant to be the same person. That's why Krusty looks so much like Homer. Because
what you mean, like Homer was like
Homer was Krusty? Yeah, like that was his like side job or something. That was like a very early version of The Simpsons.
But Krusty's rich. Why wouldn't Homer use that and be rich?
Well, I mean, I guess that like where they started to deviate, but in a very early, like that's why Krusty's design is basically Homer with extra hair.
Okay, before everyone writes in, that's interesting. Yeah. Before everyone writes in and says Krusty isn't rich and he's a gambling addict and all the things, I mean, he's rich in that he is a famous personality and therefore should be rich, not that he is rich, if that makes any sense.
Well, he has no money he has no issue in making more money should he need to. A rich person can make money by being rich.
Yeah, and being famous and using his identity. Anyway,
I mean, Homer, the whole premise of the episode about it being such a big deal that Krusty robbed this Quickie Mart compared to some of other Krusty's confirmed crimes in later seasons. Like, they make such a big deal about him robbing a Quickie Mart when, you know, you hear about his offshore accounts and all this other stuff.
But it is armed robbery. Armed robbery and tax evasion are such different crimes, are they not?
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, he's a criminal for sure, regardless of...
he's already a criminal. Yeah, true. But, you know, armed robbery is pretty significant. I don't know how long you go for armed robbery. He didn't shoot anyone, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I just act one on TV. I said, when Selma shows a slide of her dropping off...
My AirPod just died. Sorry, let me grab another headset. Just a sec.
Okay, well, I said I was still talking about where we're at with it all with regards to my insights. Oh, yeah, I said when Selma shows a slide of her dropping off the film but to be developed. That's a pretty good joke.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That's a pretty good one. I like that they have audio with the surveillance footage on the news. Like, they've got the audio with the footage, which is unusual. Usually they have closed captured footage. Bart updated his Krusty doll from last time. It's now an actual Krusty doll, not some creepy clown doll like in the previous episode. Kent Brockman's introduction, which is good. He's finally in an episode. Kent Brockman, what a classic.
We also see Itchy and Scratchy, I think, for the first time, or at least the Itchy and Scratchy show for the first time.
Yeah, that's
Krusty's.
Yep, we do. Marge says the toys were inspired by insane criminal genius as she is throwing them out. He robbed the store with a gun. Can I just say that? She's throwing out Krusty toys, because she doesn't like the influence they have on Bart, because she thinks Krusty robbed the store.
Yeah.
She calls him an insane criminal genius. An insane criminal genius. He robbed a store with a gun.
Yeah. Mastermind
criminal.
Yeah.
No one else would have thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. What if I use a gun to rob a store?
They'll be so threatened into giving me their money.
It's a crime to bet on sports events, apparently. Yeah, that's interesting. So in America, I guess in that state, it's a crime to bet on sports events, which I think it's not a popular thing in America in a lot of states, sports betting. In Australia, sports betting is everywhere. Like gambling
but you have to do
is
it
massive.
through like an officially licensed venue. Like back then, they wouldn't
bookie.
have had apps and stuff. Yeah.
No, but it doesn't matter. Like a lot, even in America, from my understanding, write in if you think this is wrong or you have some insight on this, guys, but betting, like we have sports betting on our phones. Like we go on our phones and we can bet on any sports basically anywhere in Australia.
Oh, even
like it's very popular.
You can bet on literally anything.
Yeah, it's very popular in Australia. Like betting and poker machines in Australia are massive.
I mean, you can bet on like who's going to win the election and stuff.
Yeah, like it's crazy. I know in a lot of states in America, sports betting and that sort of stuff is really, it's not common and sometimes it's illegal. Write in if you know the reason, yeah, that's what I've read. I've read that. It's not actually that popular. Yeah, it's really funny.
I mean, like I understand if it was like an illegal gambling ring, like a not licensed place, but do they just not have licensed places full stop?
They just don't, it's not as big in America, sports betting and things. I think it's illegal. It's outlawed in some states. I don't know if this day and age is more popular. I don't know. That's what I've heard. I mean,
while we're doing this podcast, we could literally jump on sports bet and place a bet on who we think is going to win the next election or something, right? So
yeah, we can bet on whatever we want, really. Yeah. So betting in Australia is massive, and that's how a lot of the income, a lot of large corporations make their income through poker machines and things like that. So, interesting. Australia has a big gambling problem, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. Did the police or detective do any investigation at the Quickie Mart? Lisa and Bart kept finding new shit. That's what I wrote. So they just found all this stuff. Did the investigation team do anything at the Quickie Mart to find anything?
Yeah.
Like, Krusty can't be near a microwave, but the detectives couldn't find that out. I don't know. He was reading. Krusty can't read. The detectives didn't look into this.
Minimum of effort,
yeah, to do the investigation. What do they even check? Anyway, Bart says take him away, boys, before Chief Wiggum does. But there's no issue there, I guess. Bart must take down his Krusty poster and shit pretty often because it's not in his room that often. I wrote shit a lot here. Sorry, guys, for a lot of swear words are happening. I like this one. Jared. Yeah, it's getting bad, but I like this quote. Krusty's big on advocating for, children reading and all things. And one of his quotes is, give a hoot, read a book, which is a good one. The joke is that Krusty's, he can't read, he's illiterate. So, and Krusty's lawyer, after he's found guilty, I knew it. This always happens every time. Which is a good quote. Oh God, Krusty's just the worst in terms of his luck but yeah, and then Krusty's found out to be innocent as Bart goes and goes on the Sideshow Mel show, which sucks. They read and do all this boring, sophisticated stuff the kids would not enjoy on his show after Sideshow Bob. Sorry, did I say Mel? Bob takes over the show. After Sideshow Bob takes over the show becomes so boring and. Bart goes on to say he doesn't believe that Krusty did it. And, this quote is he's got big shoes to fill, and that sort of jogs the memory of Bart. Hold on, Krusty's feet are very small. They're normal size. As he's walking up the steps, he's wearing normal.
Shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Sideshow Bob has clown-sized feet. His feet are a meter long.
Flippers.
Which is a hilarious sort of vision.
Now, if we go back to the previous episode about bowling, if he was to try and get some bowling
yeah, good point. I don't know what he does. He's gonna have to wear his own flippers.
Get ready for the sequel to this podcast where we do every in-betweeners episode. It'll take us 3 weeks.
Yeah, how many? There's only 6 seasons of The In-Betweeners, right? But there's 10 episodes per season.
Yeah, there's I think there's only 16 episodes all up or something. It's barely.
Oh, is that true? Oh, okay.
It's not very many.
I'd get around that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you got for this episode? Tell me.
You've covered off the majority of it. I think the actual content of this episode, it's not incredible. Like, it's not that funny.
No.
It's not, the story's not that great.
No.
But it is a very important episode because it does set up Krusty. It sets up the many, many sideshow episodes. It's the first, like, Kids Are Detectives episode, which they do a lot of. And, like, it's an important episode for The Simpsons because it sets up so many recurring themes and characters and all that sort of thing. But at the very start, we did say that we would rate these episodes on their content and not on their impact of the episode.
Yeah, I've been sort of disregarding that a little bit, haven't I, in terms of the iconic aspects of the episodes. But, I agree.
It's hard to overlook with some episodes.
And this one is an iconic episode with regards to, the relationship Krusty and Sideshow Bob, and then Sideshow Bob and Bart eventually have, given that he wants to kill him for finding out that he did a crime, which is probably an over-exaggerate. It's a bit of an reaction, I suppose. Like, he wants to kill Bart for finding out he was a criminal. I don't know. But, I guess that's part of the mystique of The Simpsons, and that's the fun part of that.
Yeah.
That relationship. But, the episode itself is pretty lame.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah. So, like, it's one of those ones where if we wanted to rate it on the impact of the episode, it would be quite high, but just on the episode itself, it's below mid.
I think the iconic aspect of Bob having big feet is the best part in some regards. I like there's the aspect of the relationship between Bart and Homer where Homer has to, put Bart's hero in jail.
Yeah.
Like it's Homer who can testify.
His testimony is what, is the basis of the whole court sort of thing, the prosecution.
So it's funny that Homer hid during the robbery.
Yeah.
Which is classic Homer, like that's what he would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Where are you going to put it? Where are you putting the episode?
I mean, just based on the content, it can only be like a C, right? If it was on the impact, it'd be like an A, but on the content, it's like a C.
I think so too. I've got B, C, but I'm happy to move down.
But I think because of the impact, it makes me want to watch it. Like, I don't want to skip it because it's an important episode, which like off our rubric would make it like a B, but it's pretty crap. It's a bit of a stinker. It is bad. It's a bit of a stinker.
There are some episodes where we've had to come to concessions for a lot of the episodes because some of the episodes that we've got in B, I might even put in C.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, I think, is a C. I'm
happy with C, man. I'm happy with C.
Yeah, let's stick with C. It's not a good episode. I mean, there's two decent jokes, but not enough to really elevate it. It's iconic, but if you hadn't watched this episode and you'd even heard of what happened, like, hey, Bart put me in jail for framing Krusty for robbery. If you'd never watched this episode, but you watched The Simpsons, you'd know about this happening, and then you wouldn't even need to watch the episode, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It's so it doesn't really matter. You know what happened.
Yeah.
The episode doesn't add anything more.
The next Sideshow Bob episode that you see, like, has a summary of this episode in it anyway, so you can just see the summary of it and get the gist.
And it's enough. Yeah. Doesn't add any good jokes that's worth going back. Yeah, cool. Okay. Our final episode of this. Sorry, have you got
love and respect to clowns, criminals, French people, and adult and sex workers.
Yeah, and especially if you're a clown that is criminally insane and you're born in France and at some point in your life you engage in sex work as a clown.
Or you're a sexy clown. We all know them. We all love them.
That's becoming pretty popular in this sort of post-COVID era. We're calling it post-COVID era. I would even go as far to say it's a post-bowling shoe era.
Yeah.
CBE. Or sorry, CBE. What am I saying? PBE.
PBE. Post.
Is bowling shoe one word?
Yep.
Yep. Okay,
Yep.
PBE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's its own era. Similar to Taylor Swift, we're entering the new era of post needing to hire bowling shoes.
Yeah. It's also a post sort of, disliking French creepy guys era, because you don't see that representation of French people anymore. They're not creepy anymore. I'm just thinking of a Family Guy episode where a French guy is kind of like weird.
Well, yeah, I think current media trend is to portray French people as quite handsome and sexy and mysterious. We've moved away from the creepy French.
Have you been to France?
No, I haven't.
I thought you'd been to France.
Lovely. No.
Okay.
Actually, I know what you're thinking of. I went to Japan that time.
You went to the UK as well, did you not?
Yeah, I went to the UK, but does not include France.
It does not include France.
Okay.
Okay.
Not when I went anyway.
It's not the post, UK as part of France, or France as part of the UK era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where all the French people were sexy clowns that wore bowling shoes.
And worked in the adult industries. How many clowns have clown feet like Sideshow Bob? That's the question.
Do you reckon that's where it started? One of the first clowns did have Sideshow Bob feet,
and that's just why. Really funny. Yeah.
And they thought it was really funny to have big shoes. So all
that's got to be debilitating. How do you run? You have to hop like a kangaroo. That has to be debilitating. People would make fun of you for that, but that has to be.
Well,
man, it's going to be painful.
I mean, that's someone's kink. A sexy clown, a sexy French clown with big feet.
Well, some people have feet fetish. I mean, that's got to be like the feet fetish.
Do they prefer
sort of like
small feet or big feet? I don't know. What's desirable?
Oh, well, just feet in general. The more foot, the better, right?
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, if it's based off of millimeters of foot or ounces of foot.
Like I imagine, okay, so if you're talking physics, right, you jump on your feet are skinny, so they're going to snap eventually because you got to bounce on them because you've got giant feet like a kangaroo, right? You're bouncing on them, they snap. You're in a wheelchair because you can't rehabilitate snapped feet realistically. Your feet, if they're broken, are sort of at a 90-degree angle, so the half of your foot is pointing into the ground, digging in like an anchor, stopping your wheelchair from pushing forward. I imagine you're in a wheelchair at this point because you can't walk. Man, that's a hell of a life. Your arms would be awesome. Like, they'd be powerful. Your upper body would be crazy strong because you're pushing against your feet that are digging into the ground and, affecting your ability to move forward in your wheelchair.
Well, I mean, a few months ago when I went to the Tony Hawk show, close personal friend of the show, Tony Hawk.
Tony.
They had the ramp set up and they had a bloke doing the ramp in a wheelchair. So it was pretty cool.
Did he flip?
No, he did some spin sort of things. He didn't go all the way up the vert. It was sort of like halfway up the vert, but it was pretty cool.
Did Tony ever go in the wheelchair?
No, Tony was there for a little while. We had a chat afterwards, but he's an old man now. He's taking it a bit easy, especially.
I remember the old days.
Falls.
Yeah, I remember the old days where you used to push the guy out of the wheelchair and jump in and just start, grinding the rails and stuff on that.
Doing nose bones on a
respect to wheelchair skateboarders or wheelchair boarders or wheelers. Wheelers. Yeah, respect.
Yeah, mad respect for Tony Hawk. And, of course, all love to wheelchair-bound, sexy French clowns.
Wheelchair. I laugh.
I feel like that's what we have to cut. Of all of the stuff we've said, that's probably what we have to cut.
Okay. Episode 12. 13.
13.
Jesus, episode 13.
Do 12 again. It was such a stinker.
Yeah, it was a stinker. It's great because I've lost the sheet. Hold on. Oh, God.
Let me just find the right page. Shuffle your notes.
Oh, God.
Oh, all right, I'll just start talking.
Can you just tell us, have you got Disney Plus there? I've got it. It's fine. Here we go.
Okay, yep.
Episode 13. The final episode, Some Enchanted Evening, rather. David Silverman and Kent Butterworth were the directors. Matt Groening and Sam Simon wrote the episode. So there you go, some classics. 27.1 million US viewers. It says on Disney Plus, Homer and Marge leave the kids with a sitter who's on America's Most Armed and Dangerous, which is, it's pretty accurate. I've got here Marge feeling unappreciated by Homer calls in to Dr. Monroe's radio show. Jesus Christ, this guy is everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere in this first.
Yeah, which
character, Marvin Monroe.
He was never popular.
Yeah.
Which Homer overhears at work. Homer, wanting to make it up to Marge, decides to take her to dinner at a fancy restaurant and hires a babysitter to take care of Bart and Lisa. And Maggie, I suppose, who's not on here. They are sent Miss Botts, who Bart and Lisa soon discover is actually a burglar named the Babysitter Bandit. Is she a bandit? I don't know.
Well, I guess she is. The house, right?
Yeah, she does. No, you're right. Because I thought she was going to murder them for some reason. No, you're right.
It feels that way, hey.
Yeah, she seems really creepy. They are captured by Miss Botts and tied up, but eventually freed by Maggie. Bart and Lisa capture Miss Botts and call the police. Meanwhile, Marge and Homer return home and find Miss Botts tied up. Homer, unaware of her true identity, frees her and Miss Botts and makes a clean getaway just moments before the police arrive. So it's a bit of a meme. My notes for the episode are as such. Introduction of KBBL and the Eye in the Sky. Did Arnie Pie in the Sky say his name was Bill Pie? I don't know if you heard that. Did he? I think so.
I didn't hear that. No, maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I didn't go back.
My brain might have autofilled it as Arnie Pie anyway.
Arnie Pie in the Sky here. Yeah, that's right. Marge calls Dr. Monroe despite the fact he abandoned her family when they went to therapy. So, I mean, does she think he's a good therapist?
Yeah.
Why does she think he's a good therapist if she does?
I mean, she was against him in that episode anyway. Like, she didn't want to go.
No, she didn't. Yeah, that's funny. So, I mean, maybe it was because of the excessive price. I don't know.
Yeah.
The interior of Moe's bar, by the way, sorry guys, there's like a motorbike outside my house or something, so it's very loud. If you can hear that, my apologies.
I'm pretty sure I had a fire alarm going off earlier, so if you hear that, it wasn't my building, and I did briefly check to make sure I wasn't being evacuated.
And if you were, here you are. Respect to firefighters out there.
The podcast, loved all sexy firefighters in wheelchairs out there.
Have I got to cut that too?
Nah, that's fine. The podcast was more important than my own safety. So, write in and tell us about how I'm a cool daredevil that puts the podcast before my own safety.
Yeah, dude. Mad respect to Tony Hawk. He would skateboard during a fire.
Close personal friend of the show, Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Close pen of Hawkey, as we call him. The interior of Moe's bar has changed yet again. There is like bar murmuring going on, despite the fact that there's literally Barney, Homer, and two other guys in there. It sounds like there's a lot of people in the bar. There's like heaps of
hubbub. Got a hubbub sound effect. Yeah.
A lot of hubbub. There's like 4 people in the bar and Moe. And Moe's talking to Homer. So there are 3 people in the bar, including Barney, who is sitting there drinking. Where's all this murmuring coming from? Tell me.
It's like a constant thing that Moe's bar has those pickled eggs in a jar, right? Like that's not the. Have you ever seen that in an Australian bar?
No, but I've had a pickled onion and they're quite nice.
Yeah, pickled onions are good, but I've never had them in a jar at a bar in Australia.
No, is that a thing? Peanuts maybe, and even still, you don't see peanuts in a bar.
Not very often, but I've seen them at like, a more sort of like highway side bar rather than like an in-town bar.
And I guess they're referred to as beer nuts. So
yeah.
But no, you don't see pickled onions, pickled eggs, pickled anything. It's a bit. I don't know.
It's a weird thing to provide. Hey, like,
does it feel dilapidated? The fact that there's pickled onions in there pickled eggs makes it feel dilapidated and dark and dank. Maybe that's the dank that he needs.
Yeah, the dank. Not the dank, Mo.
The dank, Mo. The dank. Where are we? Sorry. Bar murmuring. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, how did Homer know the band was going to play I Go to Rio? Or did he request it?
Probably requested it. I assume. I don't know. It may be just one of those show don't tell kind of
Why did I write that though? Was he singing it prior to them going and then they went to the thing and they played I Go to Rio?
I don't know.
I think that's what happened. He was singing it before they went out that night. And then he went and they were playing it. When my baby smiles at me. Anyway, the kids didn't think to run outside, ? Right. When the babysitter rocks up, She's really mean. They find out she's a bandit because they see her on the news or whatever they watch.
Pretty terrifying. Hey, I feel like this could have been like the first Treehouse of Horror. Like it's pretty scary. Like, I'm surprised like this character didn't traumatize me as a kid.
Yeah, I think it did, to be honest. Like for me as a kid, I remember this episode, but only because it was scary and she was creepy. Yeah. But all she does is tie them up. But yeah, why didn't they run outside? I don't know. They ran around the house for some reason. Maybe they locked the door.
Kind of thing, yeah.
I guess, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. When the babysitter says Bart, it sounds like they copied and pasted one take. Oh, yeah, Bart.
Oh, yeah.
Bart, that sort of thing.
Recorded it once and just
copied and pasted it. The hotel or motel they stayed at had a watered.
A waterbed?
What does that mean?
Waterbed.
Oh, yeah, waterbed. Yeah, right. That's what I meant to say. Waterbed. Sorry, I spelled it wrong. Yeah, that's... I guess that's not unusual, but that was a very 70s thing, wasn't it? Was it? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely not a thing these days. I haven't seen a waterbed in a long time, but... I mean, I remember experiencing waterbeds years and years ago.
Yeah, that was like early 2000s, so...
Yeah. I can't imagine, like... I don't know what they were sold on. Like, what is the benefit of a waterbed? Because
I have no idea. I mean, this was back when people didn't know anything about, like,
spine
physiology. They're like, hey, this is good because your spine doesn't get, I don't know,
doesn't get stretched in a nice way.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Like the comfiest bed that I can think of right now is just like a plank of wood. That's where I'm at in my life. Where just laying flat on a solid plank of wood is the most comfortable thing. Literally.
So I don't know how a waterbed is any benefit to anyone. But and then the first episode, I guess, did people go backwards in their thinking? Like, how long did it take for people to realize waterbeds suck for your back?
I think it's all. I bet they'll come back. Hey, everything's like cyclical, so maybe not that makes more sense.
Like because at least I can justify that.
A really soft bed will come back, and then people will be like, "Yeah, but my back's really sore because it's just so."
It's too
too
not
soft,
firm enough, and not like supportive. Yeah. The first episode, Maggie does anything useful. I guess. Yeah. Oh yeah. Homer goes. Sorry, yeah. It's memorable quotes. Let's move on. Memorable quotes. Homer rings up for a babysitter, and obviously the kids are really bad, so no babysitter wants to come and see them because they remember them. And Marge rings up, and then Homer rings back, and the babysitter lady says, "Didn't your wife just call?" And Homer goes, "No, I said Samson, not Simpson," which is a funny quote. That's for all the comedians out there. Maybe you want to talk about this episode a little bit because I've lost all my quotes. That's where I'm at with it all. This has just gone down the this whole podcast. It's
lost it. The wine.
We've lost it.
Ever since you had the wine.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I like the rubber baby buggy bumper babysitting service. That was a struggle.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Rubber baby bubble. Yep. Jesus, I can't even say it.
Rubber baby buggy bumper babysitting service.
Rubber baby bubby bumper bubby bunker babysitting service.
Yeah. Good luck. Have fun with that.
Far out. I don't think I can say it.
I don't know. Most of my notes about this episode were just like, it's not a terrible episode. It's pretty weak for the last episode of the first season, though. Like, that's, if you watched every single episode, that's the one you're going to remember for the next year until season 2 comes out.
I didn't mind the episode. I don't know. I didn't mind it.
I'm not saying it's like a, bottom of the barrel, rock bottom thing. It's just not strong.
It was better than the Marvin Monroe initial episode where they go get counselling.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, most things are.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Well, okay. Where would you put this episode? I mean, do you have any opinions at all?
Look, I'm on the fence between B and C. I think compared to what we have been pushing into B, it's worse than that.
I was putting it in a solid A.
What?
Yeah, this is wow. What? I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh my god! What are you citing in this episode?
I think I just hadn't seen it in a long time. I think so. I had some sort of like I don't know, a renewed view of the episode, but
Yeah.
it's not, thinking back on it now, right where we are, and this isn't just because you've said you hate it, although that's sort of helping. I don't know. It's not good enough for me to go put it on now. I wouldn't go, say I want to watch The Simpsons and ever show anyone the episode myself. No. I wouldn't go, hey man, you haven't seen The Simpsons? Let's watch this episode.
Yeah.
So therefore, does it warrant an A? I don't know if it does.
Well, I think there is like a point to be made that if you haven't seen this episode in a long time, there's probably a reason for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But I just think maybe it's because I had a bias against season 1.
Yeah, I suppose. I would happily skip this episode, but I would comfortably watch it if it was on.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Do you want to put it a B? It's got a lot of Bs. I'm happy to put it.
B's. I'm happy to put it in a B. Like, yeah.
I think B's fair. I put it A. That's a bit. Maybe it is a bit excessive. I do think it's an interesting premise. I think the Maggie stuff bored me. Again, I don't care that Maggie saved them because it's just too. It's too outlandish to think that a 1-year-old
friendly comedy on.
Yeah. Not even comedic. There's nothing comedic about it. Like, I don't find that funny. So I don't know. A couple of funny quotes, but apart from that, I think it's B.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with B.
Yeah, cool.
And we're done. That is season 1.
Season 1's done. Oh my God. So that's about 5 hours worth of content there, guys. Enjoy that. We would really like to hear about your opinions. If you have anything to say about the show or, some hate mail, send it in. We'll read it and then we will send you some hate mail back, back and forth. We're getting into that. We've got our Gmail. It's crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com. Email us in and tell us what you think. If you have any insights or opinions, chuck them in the comments. We'll read them. We'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, stay tuned for season 2. Isaac, that's coming out hopefully next month. We haven't started it.
Geez. It's twice as many episodes, and this took us, 5 hours of recording, so I don't know how we plan to break this one up.
I mean, no, I'm not even interested in editing anymore. I think we're just going to leave it as is. Maybe I'll take out that one joke.
Why don't we just do it live?
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. I feel like we're going to get cancelled pretty quickly, but that's fine.
Keep in all the extra content that we cut, like the part where I told everyone what Jared is. Write in and take your guesses at that.
Yeah, write in crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the song. We can change it. We want lyric options. We like the idea of it. If you love The Simpsons, please follow along. We're season 2 next. We're going to do our next episode. Maybe we'll do it in thirds. We're not sure yet, but season 2 will start next month. We're in Feb now, so hopefully in March we'll have something out for you guys. Otherwise, you got anything else to say, Isaac?
Jared is.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you.